My flight home literally went up in flames. The plane exploded, and right as I strapped on my parachute, this delicate porcelain doll of a woman lunged straight at me. She completely ripped my parachute right off my back. I yelled out, demanding to know what the hell she was doing, but she just slammed her body against mine and crushed her soft lips right onto my mouth. Damn it! I'd been with my own girlfriend for 7 years and never even got a taste of her lipstick. But this crazy chick, she was kissing me like she wanted to swallow me whole. Holy crap, hey? Where exactly do you think your hands are going? Just because you're drop-dead gorgeous doesn't mean you get a free pass to grope me. I was furious and just about to shove her off, but then a squad of massive, heavily muscled goons stomped into the aisle. "She's not over here," one barked. There is zero chance she'd blindly jump without a parachute. Plus, she's bleeding out. She has to be hiding in this crowd. Keep your eyes peeled. I watched those terrifying guys stomp away, my heart pounding out of my chest. But then, another shady group rolled up, and every single one of them had a hand suspiciously tucked inside their coats. Wait, that stance. Are they packing heat? Guns? Before I could process it, a pair of dead, menacing eyes locked straight onto mine. The guy scoffed, clearly thinking we were just some tragic couple having a melodramatic goodbye kiss. Totally harmless. Because my parachute completely covered the woman's back, her identity was totally hidden. They figured their target had bolted somewhere else. "Listen up. If we blow this, the bosses will actually end us. We need to tear this place apart. Do not let the Black Dragon Syndicate get to her first." Hearing all this mobster talk, my brain short-circuited. What kind of nightmare flight was this? Literally everyone was hunting someone down. And all the while, this mysterious beauty was still aggressively making out with my face. Pushed to my absolute limit with her invading my personal space, I threw my hands up to shove her away. But she swiftly caught my wrists and dragged my hands right down to her waist. "Hey, who the hell are you? Get off me. The plane is literally going down. Are you deaf?" My shouting echoed, and the mob boss instantly froze in his tracks. Slowly, he turned around and locked onto me. "Boss, we're out of time. We gotta jump right now," his lackey yelled. "What are you staring at?" The lackey followed the boss's deadly gaze right back to us. That's when the horrifying truth hit me. They weren't glaring at me, they were staring dead at the girl glued to my chest. Oh crap, we were so busted. Before I could even blink, the boss whipped a pistol out of his coat and pulled the damn trigger. With insane reflexes, the woman blindly backhanded a blanket straight at their faces, grabbed me tight, and leaped right out of the exploding plane. Her speed was completely unreal. My parachute burst open in the sky, and we jerked into the air, safely floating away from the blazing wreckage. "That's her! She's getting away! Light 'em up!" Bang, bang, bang! A deafening hail of bullets ripped through the open sky. Watching us drift out of range, that mob boss screamed his lungs out in absolute blood-curdling rage. His hitmen scrambled to strap on their own chutes and furiously nosedived right after us. Not in a million years did I think I'd be dragged into a full-blown mob shootout for absolutely zero reason. Seriously, who the heck was this girl? She's got multiple underground syndicates trying to put her in a body bag. What crazy underworld did she crawl out of? Just as I opened my mouth to interrogate her, her eyes rolled back. The iron grip she had on my waist totally slacked off, and she completely blacked out. Hey, do not die on me. Wake up!" Panicking like a maniac, I hugged her against me as tight as humanly possible. "Did you just pass out from fright? Hey!" Then I looked up. Oh, crap! Those stray bullets had shredded my parachute to pieces, and my passenger was totally out cold. I started praying like my life depended on it, mostly because it did. "Oh God, please no! Are we seriously going to crash and burn right here?" Nothing but the terrifying, vast, open ocean was waiting beneath us. I begged the universe for the ripped parachute to hold on for just a few more seconds. I am way too young to die. I refuse to kick the bucket today. Going out like this is a total, pathetic joke. This is so not how my story ends. But the ruined parachute had zero lift, and we were falling like a literal rock. In my 20-odd years of existing, I never knew a guy could have such garbage luck. The universe was completely out to get me today. Before my life could flash, before my eyes, splash! We slammed violently into the freezing ocean, kicking up a massive tidal wave of water. Sinking like a stone, I choked down half the ocean before finally fighting my way back to the surface. I broke the surface, gasping for air like a dying fish. Thank God I took swimming lessons, or I'd be sleeping with the fishes for sure. After thrashing wildly in the waves, I finally got my panic under control and caught my breath. But then I saw it. A massive pool of blood was already bleeding into the surf, like someone dumped a bucket of crimson paint. Wave after wave of shocking, terrifying red. What the hell? Where is all this blood coming from? I frantically spun around, but the crazy girl was completely gone. Oh, no way. Those mobsters mentioned she was heavily wounded. Is all this blood really hers? This chick is nothing but a walking death trap. Those trigger-happy lunatics could drop out of the sky at any second. If I stay tied up in this mess, I am absolutely a dead man walking. But if I leave her behind, she's a goner for sure. The two choices were violently tearing at my conscience. Muttering a curse, I squeezed my eyes shut in frustration and dove right back into the freezing waves. Spotting her quickly through the murky seawater, I kicked hard and swam toward her. Using every single ounce of my strength, I dragged the woman's dead weight onto the sandy shore. I had absolutely no idea where the hell we were. Glancing at the worn-out fishing nets draped over a cluster of houses, it looked like some forgotten little fishing village. My eyes quickly locked onto one of the houses. It was the closest and fastest one to reach. I decided to head to that house for help. "I'll be right back to save you," I muttered, laying the woman on the ground, not even caring if she could actually hear me or not. Sprinting up to the house alone, I pounded on the wooden door with frantic fists. "Hello? Is anyone home? Please, I need some help. Hello? Is anyone there? Please open the door." Before long, the wooden door creaked open, revealing a kind, gentle face. An elderly woman blinked at me with slight surprise. "Oh my, who are you, dear?" "Please. The plane I was on crashed, and a woman fell into the ocean. She's badly hurt. Could you please help me?" Her eyes darted past me in surprise to the lifeless figure lying on the shore, and she immediately called back into the house. "Honey, get out here quickly. We need to save someone." A burly fisherman hurried out in just a few strides. Without a second word, he helped hoist the woman up and carried her into the house. "Geez, son, your girl is severely injured. This looks like a gunshot wound." "Yeah, we encountered some armed hijackers on the plane earlier. Not only did they rob us blind, but they also shot at us a few times." The fisherman slapped his thigh in sheer anger. "What the hell is this world coming to? Hold tight, kid. I have an old ancestral remedy. No matter how large the wound is, once you apply it, she'll be perfectly fine by tomorrow." "Wow, that's amazing. It's my first time hearing of a medicine like that." The old woman just smiled warmly. "His family has fished these waters for generations, dear. Last time, a monster fish bit his arm and a chunk of flesh actually came right off. But after applying it, he's completely healed now." "Are you kidding me?" I felt a real chill run down my spine just hearing that. The old woman then brought over a basin of warm water. "Go on, clean your girl's wound first. We'll apply the medicine in a bit." I glanced down at the woman. Somehow her arms were wrapped tightly around my waist, and she nuzzled her face right into my chest. She was sleeping completely soundly, as if she had finally found a sturdy rock to lean on. Are you freaking kidding me? Even now, this shameless woman still hasn't forgotten to hit on me. Isn't she supposed to be unconscious? How is she still managing to take advantage of me? My impression of her grew even worse. "Aw, your girl seems to really adore you," the old lady cooed. "Even though she's hurt, she won't let go of you. Ah, it's nice to be young. Back in our day, just holding hands made us turn bright red." "I'm so sorry you have to see something so embarrassing," I replied, forcing the most painfully awkward, polite smile I could muster. Deep down, I absolutely loathed this shameless woman to the core. She's injured to this extent and still refuses to behave. The elderly woman was about to tease me a little further, but the second her eyes fell on the woman's pale face, she suddenly froze. Noticing her slight astonishment, a wild thought hit me. Could this crazy woman actually be someone famous? Does someone out here in this tiny fishing village actually recognize her? "Ma'am, do you know her?" The old woman pondered for a moment, mumbling to herself. "She just looks a bit familiar. I swear I feel like I've seen her face somewhere before." A jolt of panic hit my chest, completely taking me aback. Oh God, Please don't tell me she's some top-tier, most wanted fugitive plastered all over TV, or an escaped convict who recently broke out of a correctional facility. Judging by the intense way she was being hunted just now, she's probably pissed off at least 2 different mob syndicates. Ma'am, you have to think carefully. Where have you seen her before? Seriously, my life depends on this. If she's some high-risk criminal, I need to contact the authorities right away. There is 0 chance I'm trying to harbor a fugitive. The old woman shook her head slowly. I just can't remember. But judging by your fancy clothes, you 2 must be from the city. You're both so ridiculously good-looking, you simply have to be a famous celebrity couple. Please, ma'am, don't flatter us like that. What kind of celebrities would ever look this incredibly pathetic? Here, young man, apply this medicinal powder to her wounds. Once dinner is ready, I'll have my wife come fetch you. Thank you so much. I really hate being such a burden. Nonsense. It's no trouble at all. No trouble. The moment they closed the door and left, I finally spun around and glared at the woman. I flicked her hard right on the forehead. The woman let out a pitiful, soft groan. Her delicate brows furrowed slightly, as if I'd hit a sore spot. Then I noticed thick, dark blood seeping out of her. A steady stream was still endlessly pooling from her chest. Gritting my teeth, I grudgingly began to take off her ruined top. Look, it wasn't for any weird, perverted reason. I just simply didn't want her dying here and causing a massive scene. By the time I finished wiping down her upper body, the basin of water was completely murky. I dumped out the gruesome, dirty water and rushed outside to grab a fresh basin of steaming hot water. I was just about to wipe down the lower half of her body, but the second my fingers reached her pants, I hesitated. You know what? Screw it. Forget it. I told myself I would just give her a quick wipe down and get the heck out of there. Seriously, there was nothing to be freaking out about. But man, her pants were ridiculously tight. How in the world was I supposed to get these things off? I stood there for a good while, staring at the fabric in pure frustration. Then, out of nowhere, an icy voice cut through the silence. Just what do you think you're doing? I nearly jumped straight out of my skin. In a flash, the woman grabbed me by the collar and yanked me down until we were nose to nose. My hand slipped, pressing directly against her wound. I'm so sorry, I stammered out. Did I hurt you? I swear I didn't mean to. I frantically scrambled back to my feet, waving my hands. Please, don't get the wrong idea. I was only trying to wipe you down so I could put the medicine on. But judging by the cold, piercing look in her eyes, she had totally gotten the wrong idea. Panicking, I quickly blurted out, I couldn't even figure out how to unfasten your pants. Instantly, a mysterious, completely unreadable smirk danced in her striking eyes. And what exactly were you trying to unfasten them to look at? That wicked little smile gave me the absolute creeps. You don't seriously think I'm into you, do you? I shot back. I already have a girlfriend. I wouldn't even dream of making a move on you. She scoffed, her tone dripping with sarcasm. A guy who doesn't even know how to take off a pair of pants actually managed to get a girlfriend? What is this crazy world coming to? She mused. I instantly flushed cherry red with a mix of embarrassment and pure anger. Do you really think being in a relationship means you just go around stripping people down? For your information, my girlfriend and I have a perfectly pure relationship. We have literally never done anything like that. Oh, trust me, I can tell, she purred. Huh? I blinked. Back on the plane, she smirked. Your kissing was completely clueless and just plain awful. It is painfully obvious you have never kissed a single person in your life. It was bad enough that she even brought that moment up, but hearing her mock me out loud made my blood absolutely boil. I had guarded my first kiss for all these years, fully planning to give my completely untainted self to my girlfriend on our actual wedding night. I never in a million years expected it to be completely stolen by this random woman for absolutely no reason. I really don't need your creepy review, I snapped. Absolutely fuming, I chucked the bottle of medicine right at her. She just caught it with a faint, mocking smile. What? Aren't you going to help me apply it? Didn't you want to sneak a peek just a minute ago? Why are you turning your back now? You know, this is practically a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Not just any man gets the ultimate honor of seeing my body. I groaned in frustration. My girlfriend is 1,000,000 times better than you. I would way rather look at her than look at you. Clearly, this was the very first time this arrogant woman had ever heard anyone claim another girl was better than her. Watching me literally hop around the room in a total fit of rage, that same faint, irritating smirk crept back onto the corners of her lips. Moving incredibly slowly and deliberately, she leaned a little bit closer to me and gently tugged on the edge of my sleeve. She opened her mouth, definitely about to tease me again, but before a single word could leave her lips, I realized she had completely lost her balance. She was about to tip right off the edge of the bed. I instantly lunged forward to catch her, but in the very next split second, her impossibly soft lips pressed completely flush against mine without any warning. I totally froze in place. After a solid few seconds of pure, unadulterated shock, I snapped back to reality and angrily shoved her away. Seriously, what the heck is wrong with you? Why are you acting like such a total creep? Looking as smug as a cat that had just caught a giant fish, she shamelessly gloated, "Oh, please, you are the one who just threw yourself right at me." As if. Would I have come anywhere near you if you weren't literally falling off the bed? I swear, I have seriously never met such an incredibly brazen woman in my entire life. Pure amusement danced wildly in her eyes. It was honestly as if the angrier I got, the more insanely entertaining she found the whole situation. Well, if you really feel like you got the short end of the stick, you can always just kiss me back. I tightly pursed my lips, glaring at her. Just give me your phone. What for? She asked defensively. I just stared right back at her, secretly trying my hardest to piece together her true identity. I had a really strong gut feeling that she was nothing but bad news. Honestly, she really looked exactly like a fugitive on the run. Just at that tense moment, a loud knock sounded at the heavy wooden door. "Hey, young man, dinner is all ready." "Oh, I hear voices. Is your girl finally awake?" I loudly protested internally. She is definitely 100% not my girl, but out loud I just forced a polite tone and called back, "Yes, we will be right out. I am so sorry to trouble you again." Right on cue, the woman deliberately chimed in, stretching her words, "But honey, you haven't even applied my medicine yet." She clearly said it loudly enough for the sweet old woman outside to hear every word, prompting me to shoot a lethal glare right back at her. My furious look practically screamed, "You are not paralyzed. Can't you just put the stupid medicine on yourself?" "Oh, my young man, it has been so long and you still haven't put the medicine on your poor girl? Go take care of it right this second. It definitely won't be good if that nasty wound ends up getting infected. Remember to disinfect her wound with the hydrogen peroxide first, and then pour that healing powder right on top. All right, I will just leave you two lovebirds to it then. Just come on out to eat once you are all done with the medicine." With that sweet parting remark, she closed the door. I immediately shot the woman the most fierce, deadly glare I could muster. The woman just nodded along with a victorious smile, looking thoroughly pleased with this entire outcome. My teeth literally ground together in a moment of sheer, overwhelming frustration. Out of pure spite, I poured nearly half a bottle of hydrogen peroxide directly onto her open wound, definitely causing an awful, stinging, burning sensation, but the crazy woman merely let out a soft murmur. "Ha! All right then. This woman actually has some serious grit," I thought to myself. Once I finally finished disinfecting her wound, I poured the powder on and gently wrapped the clean white bandage around her waist a few times. With that awkward task finally finished, the two of us slowly walked out of the cramped room, one right after the other. Out inside the cozy little dining area, the old fisherman and his kind wife were already sitting at the rustic table, waiting hungrily for us. The very second we walked out, they immediately greeted us with warm smiles. Young lady, are you feeling all right? Come, sit down. Come on and sit down. Dinner is ready," the old man said warmly. "We don't have much to offer, just some humble, simple food. I hope you don't mind." "Thank you so much," I replied quickly. "We've already caused you far too much trouble as it is." Knowing this arrogant woman next to me completely lacked basic manners, I went ahead and thanked them on her behalf. After I took my seat, she just stood there, motionless like a statue. Her cold eyes swept across the tiny tile-roofed house with blatant judgment. Where exactly is this place? The moment she spoke, she radiated an aura of absolute, terrifying authority over everyone in the room. The old woman didn't dare hesitate, hurriedly introducing the place. "This is Fishman Village, located right on the border of South City." South City? I had heard of it. It was about a 10-hour drive from East City. "Give me a phone, a cell phone," she demanded. "We don't have cell phones here," the old man stammered. There's a landline in town. I'll have my husband take you there tomorrow. It only takes about 2 hours. There are no other communication devices nearby. We've fished here for generations, so we rarely have any contact with the outside world. Finding her bossy behavior incredibly rude and embarrassing, I gave her sleeve a hard tug, silently signaling for her to just sit down. Surprisingly, she didn't resist and smoothly sat down right next to me. On the dining table sat a single fish, a bowl of fish soup, and a few bowls of plain rice. Everything was served in coarse, deeply rustic dishware that had definitely seen better days. Even the bowls and chopsticks looked chipped and worn, but they were perfectly clean, likely having been used for over a decade. Looking at it, the pampered woman instantly lost her appetite. "Young lady, why aren't you eating?" "Come on, eat up while it's hot," the old woman coaxed kindly. The old woman picked up a piece of fish with her chopsticks to offer her, but the woman coldly spoke up to stop her. "Auntie, don't." The old woman's hand froze awkwardly in midair. Seeing the sweet old woman caught off guard by having her warm hospitality rejected so bluntly, I rushed in to smooth things over. "She just means she can serve herself. You two go ahead and eat. I'll get it for her." With that, I playfully transferred the piece of fish from the old woman's chopsticks into my own bowl. Then, I deliberately picked up a piece of the bony fishtail and dropped it into the arrogant woman's bowl. That is exactly what you get for being so picky, I thought. There are tons of bones in that piece. Have fun picking them out, princess. I suddenly felt a petty, delicious thrill of sweet revenge. But of course, how could this cunning woman not see right through my obvious intentions? She knew I was seriously playing favorites. I had intentionally given the absolute boniest part, the fishtail, to her, while leaving the meatiest portions for the sweet elderly couple. Seeing this little stunt, instead of flying into a rage, a terrifyingly faint smile actually played on her lips. "At home, aren't you always the one who picks out the fish bones for me, darling?" she cooed. "I only ever eat the fish you debone." I practically ground my teeth to dust, but with the elderly couple sitting right there, I had to force my anger down. Faking a bright smile, I replied, "You're a grown adult. Stop acting so spoiled and just eat." She tilted her head, smirking. "Aren't you going to feed me?" The moment those words left her mouth, the elderly couple completely froze mid-bite. "Or do we need to ask these outsiders to give us some privacy?" she added flawlessly. "Outsiders?" I almost coughed up blood right there. "Please, this is literally their house. You are the massive outsider here, okay? Seriously, where does her innate sense of twisted superiority and self-righteous attitude even come from?" "Just eat your food," I hissed. But the woman simply pressed her hand down on my bowl, looking at me with dark amusement. "Do you want me to feed you instead? Would you like some soup? Or maybe some rice?" I ground my teeth again, completely and utterly speechless. However you two usually eat, just do that now. Please, don't worry about us." The old woman finally, awkwardly, tried to smooth things over for us. And just as I opened my mouth to frantically explain, the woman spoke up before I could get a single word out. We usually feed each other mouth to mouth. Hearing that, the poor fisherman choked violently and straight up spat out a massive mouthful of rice. "Honey, what on earth is wrong with you?" The old woman hurriedly patted his back in a panic. "You were eating just fine. What happened all of a sudden?" While their attention was completely turned away, I leaned in and hissed under my breath in pure exasperation. "All right, that is enough." The woman just kept her wickedly amused look, as if daring me. "Either you feed me, or I feed you." Finally hitting my absolute limit, I violently grabbed her bowl. I shoved the fish, bones and all, right into her mouth, growling low through heavily gritted teeth. "You always love eating crunchy fish bones at home, honey, so don't be shy here. They won't think you're a total weirdo. Here, eat up." I practically crammed every ounce of my pent-up resentment right into her mouth. Watching us, the elderly couple's eyes almost popped completely out of their skulls. Someone actually likes eating raw fish bones these days? Oh, don't worry about her, ma'am. Her digestive system is absolutely incredible. Honestly, even if she swallowed this ceramic bowl whole, she'd be perfectly able to digest it. I forcefully fed her another massive bite, purely out of spite. But the crazy woman wasn't even annoyed. She just kept smiling at me with that dangerous look. To an outsider, we probably looked like a deeply devoted couple who had been passionately together for years. Just when I confidently thought I had finally won this round, She suddenly leaned over, grabbed my face, and fed the chewed-up fish from her mouth straight into mine, making my eyes fly wide open in shock. It took me a few dizzying seconds to even realize what was happening. This absolute maniac of a woman had actually taken the food right from her own mouth and forcefully shoved it all into mine. I instantly wanted to gag, but she forcefully crushed her lips against mine, forcing the food straight down my throat. The old couple watched, completely dumbfounded. Is this how young folks feed each other nowadays? It was a total eye-opener. Had they really been cut off from the outside world for that long? Or was our generation just that progressive? Suffocating from her intense kiss, I instinctively swallowed. Panic hit me instantly. I braced myself for a sharp fishbone to completely shred my throat. But to my complete surprise, as I swallowed, there wasn't a single bone scratching my throat. I stared at her in utter astonishment. She casually picked up a rough napkin from the table and elegantly wiped the fish bones from her lips. Her movements were impossibly graceful. I couldn't wrap my head around how she had managed to separate them so perfectly. She finally spoke, letting me breathe. So, are you going to eat on your own? Or do you want me to feed you again? I hurriedly snatched up my chopsticks. I'll do it myself. I avoided her gaze and just started shoveling food into my mouth. She stopped giving me a hard time and nonchalantly dropped a huge piece of fish belly into my bowl after meticulously picking out every last bone. Eat slower, she ordered, sounding exactly like a strict parent. Yeah, right. All I wanted was to finish as fast as possible and get away from this little witch. The meal finally ended after a torturous hour. The old woman opened a dusty chest and pulled out some plain, coarse clothes she had saved for years. Young man, you two haven't washed up yet. These are the very clothes my husband and I wore on our wedding day. If you don't mind them, please take them. The bath water is already drawn in that room right over there. I hesitated, unsure if I should take them. Oh no, we couldn't possibly accept this. These are your precious wedding clothes. I can't fit into them anymore anyway. Keeping them around is just for sentimental value. We don't have any better clothes to offer you, so I really hope you won't look down on them. The old woman warmly pressed the clothes into my hands. Unable to decline her kindness, I could only accept. But out of nowhere, the woman suddenly chimed in. Those clothes don't suit you. I couldn't help but snap back. What the hell is it to you? Why don't you get me a better set to replace them then? Shocked by how quickly she agreed, I decided to make an absolutely outrageous demand for tonight's food, medicine, and lodging. You have to pay it all back. Tenfold. Tenfold? The woman just looked at me calmly and said, Deal. A normal person would never pay 10 times the price for tonight's expenses. It was completely unreasonable, but her reaction threw me entirely off guard. Is this woman completely insane? Anyone else would have laughed right in my face at a tenfold demand. How could she agree so easily? Can you give me your phone now? She stared deeply into my eyes, like she was reading my very soul. I instinctively clutched my pocket, staring at her in disbelief. How did you even know I had a phone on me? Before jumping out of that plane, I made sure my waterproof phone was zipped tight in my pocket so it wouldn't fall out. Nothing escapes my sight. Hearing her say that with such absolute confidence, I reluctantly pulled the phone out. She quickly dialed a number from memory. Trace the exact location of this phone. Pick me up tomorrow. Hearing the commanding authority in her tone, I couldn't help but wonder who she really was. She wrapped up the call in a few brief sentences, created a new contact in my phone, and typed in her name. This is my personal contact info. You saved my life. If you ever need my help, just call. I snatched my phone back, highly skeptical. She was literally being hunted by hitmen. Wouldn't getting involved with her just bring a mountain of trouble to my doorstep? Don't worry, I won't be looking for you. I rolled my eyes, not wanting to waste another breath, and turned to go shower. In exchange for this favor, you can ask for anything. No matter what it is, I will grant it. Anything? I stopped dead in my tracks and slowly turned back to face her. Are you absolutely certain about that? I never break my word. Seeing her act so high and mighty, I couldn't hold back a scoff. Oh yeah? What if I wanted a massive mansion and a luxury car? Would you agree to all of that? She didn't even flinch. Then it shall be as you wish. The luxury car and the mansion are yours. Plus me, Vivian Vance, as a bonus? Yeah, sure enough. She was just completely full of it. Arguing with her was a total waste of time. I bluntly told her, Move! Stop blocking the way to the shower. Meanwhile, as the old woman was clearing the dishes, something suddenly clicked in her mind. Wait, isn't that girl the one they reported on TV a few days ago? The billionaire corporate CEO, Vivian Vance? Yes, that's definitely her. It's her. I remember now. The old fisherman, busy repairing his net, just sighed. Oh, you've been watching way too much television. How could a billionaire CEO ever end up in a place like this? His wife fired right back. She can afford to fly, so she's clearly no ordinary person. Don't the big shot CEOs on TV always fly around the world all the time? The old man just chuckled. My silly old wife. So many people fly around these days. It's just that we haven't left this place in so long to see what the outside world is actually like anymore. The elderly couple's voices drifted in through the window. While taking my shower, I remembered her name was Vivian Vance. I muttered it to myself a few times. Why does that name sound so incredibly familiar? I reached out to grab the shampoo, but my fingertips suddenly brushed against something crawling, making my chest tighten instantly. I instinctively looked up and let out a sharp gasp. My entire voice was completely tight with pure panic. Hearing the sudden commotion, Vivian Vance immediately rushed over. Before the elderly couple could even process what was happening, she had already thrown the bathroom door wide open. She walked right in. The wooden bathtub was tilted to the side. I stood backed into the corner, completely disheveled and half-naked, looking incredibly embarrassed. Vivian Vance stepped forward without hesitation, gently draping my clothes over my bare shoulders. Her tone was steady and calm, but it definitely carried a hint of concern. What's wrong? Vivian calmly scanned the dark bathroom, seeing absolutely no one else there. My entire body was wound up tight like a spring, and I clamped my hands firmly onto her shoulders. My knuckles turned completely white, and my voice dropped to an incredibly low whisper filled with sheer, uncontrollable panic. There's something in here, she asked in a surprisingly gentle tone. What did you see? My body went completely rigid as I backed up slightly, my shoulders tense and trembling. My eyes were locked dead onto the corner of the room, my voice deep and raspy. A cockroach. A flying one. Vivian was taken aback for a moment, and then she let out a soft laugh, both amused and entirely exasperated. You're afraid of cockroaches? Just get me out of here. I snapped urgently, my tone sounding almost like a direct command. Just the horrifying thought of having touched it earlier made my spine tingle. Every single hair on my body stood right on end. Cockroaches have been my absolute worst, skin-crawling nightmare ever since my childhood. The very next second, the cockroach suddenly took flight from the corner and landed right on the window. I jolted violently, my face turning deathly pale, and instinctively tried to recoil. Let go. In my absolute panic, my grip tightened incredibly hard on the woman's shoulders. Vivian let out a soft groan, her chest wound apparently getting aggravated by my sudden movement. Hey, stop moving. But her voice remained entirely gentle. The more you panic, the more you'll attract it. I froze instantly, cold sweat breaking out on my forehead, my voice completely tight. Just get me out of here. Vivian just glanced around the dark, messy bathroom and frowned slightly. Right outside the door, the old man asked anxiously, Young man, is everything all right in there? Keeping her voice soft and gentle, she stood right in front of the door to prevent the old man from coming in. We're totally fine, just a little scare. Then she looped her arm through mine and quickly led me out of the bathroom and straight back into the bedroom. She carefully helped me sit down on the edge of the bed. Is it really worth being this terrified? Her tone definitely carried a teasing hint of amusement, leaving me completely unable to stand or sit comfortably. My body was still slightly tense and noticeably trembling. My mind was completely consumed by the sheer horror of that flying cockroach from earlier. I propped my hands up at my sides, my back totally rigid as I desperately forced myself to just calm down. Seeing how tightly wounded I was, trying so incredibly hard to put up a brave front, Vivian's eyes darkened slightly. She suddenly found that a man who was clearly terrified, but still pushed through without showing any real weakness, was incredibly attractive to her. You can sleep on the bed tonight. Feeling like she might do something entirely unexpected if she didn't leave right then, she was just about to walk out when she heard me speak. Wait. I stared fearfully at the slow-crawling bug on the wall, not daring to take my eyes off it for even a single second. This room really had all kinds of nasty things. Spiders, bugs, and flying pests were absolutely everywhere. Don't tell me you're afraid of bugs, too. Are you even a man? I slowly shook my head, desperately wanting to tell her that when I was a kid, I feared absolutely nothing. Nothing scared me. But ever since I got deeply traumatized by a flying cockroach, I became terrified of all insects down to my very bones. Put your clothes on first. Hearing her sudden reminder, I looked down at myself in utter confusion. Only then did I realize I was wearing absolutely nothing but a flimsy bath towel. Having already suffered a total emotional breakdown, I was now mortified beyond belief. I threw my clothes on as fast as humanly possible, truly wishing the floor would just open up and swallow me alive. Just go to sleep. The woman didn't mock me. After blowing out the oil lamp, she lay down right next to me, which made me jump out of my skin. You're sleeping in here tonight? Where else would I go? I hesitated, saying, two strangers who just met sharing a single room. If word gets out, your reputation is toast. But the mysterious woman just cut me off. Chill out. I have zero interest in you. Plus, I'm injured, so nothing is going down. Honestly, she had a point. Still, my survival instincts were screaming. I couldn't completely drop my guard. Catching my hesitation, she smirked. If a roach shows up, I'll smash it. Unlike you, bugs don't freak me out. Man, that was pure music to my ears. After the brutal day I just survived, exhaustion finally took over. Letting out a heavy sigh, I drifted into a deep sleep. But early the next morning, a violent, howling wind shook the paper-thin windows like an earthquake. Either that wind was unnatural, or this dump was finally giving up the ghost, because the roof tiles were literally getting ripped into the sky. They smashed into the dirt outside with a deafening crash. As a massive, ultra-luxurious aircraft descended closer, the storm of flying debris got worse until, bam, half our roof was completely gone. Stripped naked to the elements, our room turned into a chaotic tornado of flying junk, and the windows just entirely shattered. The sweet old couple organizing their fishing nets out in the yard absolutely lost their minds in terror. They scrambled for their lives, diving into the nearest safe corner. We all watched as this beast of a jet tried to touch down over and over, but the tiny village was way too cramped, forcing it to just circle like a predator. Eventually, the pilot gave up and slammed it down on the nearby beach. Half the neighborhood rushed out to see what the insane commotion was. I mean, this middle-of-nowhere fishing village had never seen anything crazier than a big catch. Jolted awake by the roaring engines, I froze. I was practically spooning Vivian Vance. I scrambled back like I'd touched a hot stove. Thank God we were both fully clothed. I glanced over, and Vivian was shooting me a look of pure, unadulterated disgust. You tossed and turned and used me as a literal body pillow all night. How the hell was I supposed to sleep? Wait, what? I hugged her all night long? My mind flashed back to this sweet, fluffy dream I was having. So, that soft, amazing-smelling thing in my arms wasn't a cute puppy? It was this icy woman? Then why didn't you just wake me up? I blurted out. I figured if I startled you, your primal male instincts might kick in. Then we'd be dealing with a lot more than just cuddling. Why the heck is she always so incredibly annoying? But suddenly, reality hit me. Wait, what was that explosive noise outside? Vivian just lazily stretched and stood up. My ride is here. Let's move. Like, right now? I haven't even brushed my teeth or washed my face. She shot me a playful smirk. I can take you to a real bathroom, unless you'd rather freshen up with your little cockroach buddy. The second she dropped the word cockroach, I shook my head so fast I almost got whiplash. Leaving with her sucked, but I had literally zero options. I followed her out of the wrecked house, walking straight into a massive sea of gaping fishermen. Resting on the sand just ahead was an absolute monster of a private jet. A wicked custom logo was gleaming on the side. The whole thing screamed sleek, untouchable luxury. Now, I grew up with serious money, so there wasn't a VIP jet on Earth I hadn't flown in at least once. But this beast? This thing was worth a staggering $1 billion, sitting at the absolute apex of the aviation world. When this model dropped, it shook the global elite. Rumor had it, there was a full living room, an office, a high-tech gaming lounge, a master bedroom, and every god-tier amenity you could dream up. Suddenly, a stunning woman stepped down from the aircraft. Just feeling her intense, elite energy, I instantly pegged her as some legendary billionaire heiress. But here's the crazy part. This gorgeous heiress was walking dead straight at me, a soft, charming smile on her face. Holy crap, my brain short-circuited. Is this girl one of my hardcore secret admirers? I mean, sure, I'm insanely good-looking, but how the hell did a fan track me down to this dump of a fishing village exactly when I needed a rescue? But if she wasn't into me, why was she locking eyes with me? Step by dramatic step, she closed the gap. If she drops a love confession right here, how do I let her down easy? I already have a girl. I can't just play with another woman's heart. But right as I was sweating over this massive dilemma, she blew right past me and bowed deeply to Vivian Vance. "Ma'am, I finally found you," she pleaded urgently. "Please forgive my severe negligence. I never dreamed those two factions would have the guts to strike you mid-flight." "Wait, what? Ma'am?" I stared blankly at Vivian. Who the hell is this woman? She was acting like a supreme underworld overlord. Did you dig up the intel? Vivian didn't even flinch, asking instead with ice-cold indifference. Aside from the Black Dragon Syndicate and the Arctic faction, there was a third group of unknown origin. Before the ruthless Black Dragon Syndicate or the Arctic faction could even make their deadly move, this mystery group aggressively blew up the entire wing of the plane. Just who exactly were they targeting? The woman hesitated for a brief moment before answering. Their main target was a man. However, casualties among the passengers were incredibly heavy, so we haven't found any solid leads yet. After finishing her report, the woman stole a curious glance at me. Who the hell is this guy? To think he could stand so casually close to Our Lady. You see, Our Lady has completely avoided men for years. She absolutely despises close contact with men, yet she doesn't seem to mind his presence at all. Vivian Vance's eyes darkened slightly, as if she were contemplating something deep. After a moment, she issued a cold command. "Find someone to redesign and completely renovate this entire house. You practically tore their roof off when you landed just now." The woman bowed her head guiltily and quickly apologized. "That was my mistake, ma'am." Vivian then turned and asked the old woman standing nearby, "Do you know how to grow vegetables?" The poor old woman was already way too stunned to even speak. Judging by the intense conversation between boss and subordinate, this woman was definitely someone extraordinary. Seeing her total silence, the other woman frowned slightly. "Hey, Our Lady is asking you a question." The old woman hurriedly replied, "Oh, yes, I do." "Then give her a vegetable garden, too," Vivian instructed, before turning her sharp gaze straight at me. I never expected her to take last night's dumb joke so seriously. For a moment, I honestly didn't even know how to respond. As for the lodging fee, I will compensate them with a brand new home. And as for the medical expenses you mentioned, Chloe, write them a check for $1 million. Hearing her lady's shocking command, Chloe was just about to write it when she suddenly remembered something crucial. "Ma'am, there aren't any banks around here where they can actually cash a check. Even if this poor couple gets the check, they won't find a place within thousands of miles to cash it. Bringing that much physical money back would be a huge hassle." "Then just make it cash," Vivian stated decisively. Soon after, Chloe brought a heavy briefcase full of cash straight from the private jet and presented it to the old woman. "This is a small token of Our Lady's appreciation. Please, accept it." The old woman completely froze, her frail hands trembling as she slowly opened the heavy case. Inside were neat, massive stacks of $100 bills, and the sheer, overwhelming amount caused the old woman to instantly faint on the spot. The fisherman hurriedly caught her, took one terrified look into the briefcase, and fainted right along with her. This much cash! They had never seen anything like it in their entire lives. "Come with me," Vivian ordered as she walked ahead, and I hurriedly followed closely behind her. Together, we boarded the massive private jet. "In here, 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 here." The gorgeous European-style cabin stood 8 insanely luxurious sofas, fully equipped with state-of-the-art audio-visual systems absolutely everywhere. I immediately knew this was the absolute best-performing aircraft among all luxury jets in the world. "Take him to wash up," Vivian ordered coldly. She then confidently went straight into the master bedroom shower, leaving the other incredibly spacious bathroom entirely to me. Chloe made a polite, welcoming gesture. "Sir, please follow me." Following Chloe, I was just about to ask who Vivian really was, but on second thought, I quickly realized there was absolutely no point. We'd go our separate ways once we landed, and there would be zero chance of us ever meeting again. Here are your fancy toiletries, and right over here is a fresh change of clothes. The bathroom is right there, fully stocked with absolutely everything you could possibly need. Chloe introduced very politely. I secretly marveled at the sheer luxury in my mind. Looking at the neatly folded clothes on the side, I asked, "Wait, are these for me too?" "Yes, sir." My tone instantly carried a heavy hint of pure sarcasm. Because aside from the regular clothes, there was even a pair of men's underwear, which felt completely and utterly absurd to even think about. Thinking I had completely misunderstood, Chloe quickly explained, "Oh no, it's not what you think. Our lady requested all this via text last night. They should all be your exact size." The tips of my ears turned bright red instantly. When on earth did she send a text? How did I have absolutely no idea about this? Right around 11 o'clock last night. At Chloe's helpful reminder, it suddenly clicked in my brain. I'd already been lying dead asleep in bed for a while back then. Did she seriously take advantage of me sleeping to secretly use my own phone to send a text? Damn it! Don't tell me she snooped through absolutely everything else on my phone, too. At that terrifying thought, a wild mix of intense embarrassment and furious rage instantly flooded my chest. I slammed the bathroom door shut with a massive, loud bang. "Sir, if you need anything at all, just press the call button right there on the wall." "I am totally at your service at any time," Chloe said respectfully before bowing out. I angrily cursed Vivian out in my head the entire time I washed up. How incredibly despicable, secretly using my private phone. I violently cursed her 1,000 times over in my mind, but it still didn't satisfy my burning rage. When I finally stepped out after my hot shower, Vivian was already casually sitting at the dining table, eating her meal. I noticed she had showered, too. She carried a truly pleasant fragrance, and after changing into a clean, elegant dress, Vivian looked completely refreshed and stunning. The incredibly elegant way she sliced her expensive steak proved she definitely didn't come from just any ordinary wealthy family. The second my sanity settled, her voice cut through the silence. "You saved my life last night. As a token of my gratitude, I am giving you a $10 million reward." I froze, my blood instantly boiling. Why did that massive payout sound like an absolute insult to my pride? On cue, her assistant Chloe whipped out a $10 million check, sliding it over with robotic respect. "Sir, please accept Our Lady's humble appreciation." I slammed on the brakes, my voice ice cold. "Keep it. Me stepping in last night was just a fluke, nothing more." Vivian coolly shot back, "Then just consider it payment for sleeping with me." The moment Vivian dropped that bombshell, Chloe stood completely paralyzed. What the heck? This random guy was actually intimate with their untouchable boss? Talk about breaking news. You have to understand. Her boss treated men like walking plagues. Forget male escorts or bodyguards. Even her right-hand assistant had to be a woman. Whenever the old man tried setting her up on blind dates, she would ice the poor guys out without a second thought. Getting this ice queen to even look at a guy was harder than winning the lottery. What kind of glitch in the Matrix happened last night? Or did this underdog have some dark magic to make the billionaire heiress surrender? Unfazed, I flicked the check right back at Vivian. "If anything, this is my tip for your stellar services," I mocked. Still running hot with rage, I yanked a crisp $1 bill from my worn wallet and tossed it at her. "Since you put on such a great show last night, consider this a little bonus." Payment for services? Chloe's brain practically short-circuited. She was totally dumbfounded, but her elite training kicked in, snatching the check right out of thin air. In the same breath, she caught the $1 bill, saving her pristine boss from getting smacked in the face by sheer disrespect. Vivian just stared at me with an unreadable, intense gaze. I cleared my throat, dropping my voice. "Look, I expect you to keep your mouth shut about last night. At the end of the day, absolutely nothing happened between us. I don't care how many boy toys you have lined up, but I actually have a girlfriend. So please, Miss Vance, do me a massive favor and back off." Off to the side, Chloe was losing her absolute mind. How on earth did her boss fall for a guy who was already taken? And to make things crazier, he was treating her like dirt. Let's be real. Vivian had dominated the Forbes billionaire list for 6 straight years. As the undisputed queen of the elite, whether it was brains or drop-dead gorgeous looks, she was terrifyingly perfect. Yet this nobody was brushing her off like a pesky fly. Chloe screamed internally. "Dude, You seriously need to get your eyes checked, even if you are clueless about her monstrous wealth. Just look at the insane luxury of this private jet. Our boss is clearly a massive, astronomical upgrade over whatever girlfriend you have at home. Instead of jumping at the chance to cling to her, you're actively kicking her to the curb. What is wrong with you? Suddenly, Vivian's voice broke the tension. You certainly are fiercely devoted to your girlfriend. Vivian's tone was completely unreadable, but Chloe could read between the lines. Her ice-cold boss was genuinely bothered by this rejection. Chloe thought to herself, wow, this underdog is getting dangerously interesting. But don't sweat it, boss. Normally, whatever you want is yours for the taking. Who cares if he has a girlfriend? Even if the guy were happily married, you could snatch him up in a heartbeat, couldn't you? I let out a harsh, mocking scoff. You flatter me, Miss Vance. I am just not as shameless as you are. Shameless? Did this madman actually just call the billionaire heiress shameless? Chloe practically choked on thin air. Shockingly, Vivian did not explode. Instead, a playful smirk crossed her lips. Just eat your food. You are going to need the energy to keep fighting me. I didn't bother playing nice with the gourmet spread. I literally saved her life yesterday. And considering she had nearly pushed me to the brink of insanity multiple times since, wolfing down her fancy breakfast was the absolute bare minimum she owed me. Fueled by spite, I dug in like a starving man, completely ignoring Vivian's amused gaze. She casually sliced a piece of premium steak and dropped it on my plate. Try it. It is actually pretty incredible. I immediately used my fork to flick the meat right off my plate. Like hell, I am eating your leftovers. I have my own hands, thanks. Chloe was genuinely floored by my brutal, unfiltered audacity. I operated on my own terms, zero cares given. I was not about to bow down and show this elite snob an ounce of fake respect. Having shadowed Vivian her entire life, Chloe had never witnessed anyone treat her untouchable boss like absolute garbage. Every elite suit in the past practically groveled for Vivian's attention, making my rebellious attitude a wild, unpredictable breath of fresh air. By the time I swallowed my last bite, the private jet had already slammed onto the runway at East City's commercial airport. Thanks for the free meal, Miss Vance. Have a nice, entitled life, I muttered, praying we would never cross paths again. I stormed off that plane, hailed a gritty city cab, and bolted. Vivian just stood there, watching my shadow fade away, lost in some deep, dangerous thought. Standing nervously beside her, Chloe cleared her throat and asked, Boss, are we finally heading home? She could easily tell her boss was in a foul mood. To the office, Vivian ordered. Her voice was completely flat, but it carried a heavy hint of disappointment. Chloe just couldn't keep her mouth shut. Ma'am, should I look into who he really is? Vivian immediately shot her a bone-chilling glare, silently scolding her assistant for daring to pry. Chloe actually shuddered, opening her mouth to beg for forgiveness. But to her utter shock, Vivian simply murmured, Chloe, I'm starting to realize you understand me better and better these days. Seeing that mysterious, dangerous smile pulling at her boss's red lips, Chloe shivered again. Honestly, she had no clue whether she should feel totally relieved or absolutely terrified. This was literally the very first time her lady had ever acted this crazy over a guy. I mean, just to bring him back safely, they hadn't even bothered stopping when they flew right over her own massive estate. Instead, she had gone completely out of her way to land at East City's only commercial airport, purely to make it easier for that guy to catch a cab. It made absolutely zero sense. It had literally only been a single night together. Chloe quickly bowed her head to accept the mission. Yes, ma'am. I'll get to the bottom of this right away. Meanwhile, Vivian's highly amused gaze just drifted out the car window. The second I slid into the back of my cab, I tossed the driver an address. Rockwood Group, please. Hearing that name, the driver glanced back in the rearview mirror, looking totally surprised. Wait, are you talking about the Rockwood Group way over on South River Road? Yeah, is there a problem with that? I asked. The driver opened his mouth to say something, but quickly snapped it shut, deciding to just keep quiet. He probably figured this guy hadn't been back in town for ages, so I likely had no clue the company's whole name had been totally changed. Shifting into gear, the driver stopped being nosy and slammed on the gas, speeding straight toward my destination. I just rolled down the window and took a massive breath of that fresh air. East City. Man, I am finally back home. The cool wind whipping against my face felt incredibly nostalgic, instantly putting me in the best mood ever. Then, it suddenly hit me. I hadn't even texted my parents yet. Ah, whatever. I'll just show up completely out of the blue and give them the ultimate surprise. Today was actually Nina Collins' birthday. The special gift I had worked so damn hard to prep for her completely vanished the second I jumped out of that plane, which honestly pissed me off a bit. And as for that crazy woman who aggressively stole my first kiss, man, if it wasn't for her, I never would have been dragged into all this ridiculous nonsense in the first place. Sighing, I pulled out my phone and dialed my favorite bakery. Hey there, do you guys happen to have any premium, pre-made cakes available right now? The voice on the other end gasped. Master Ethan? Oh my God, is that really you? The receptionist legitimately almost dropped her phone in shock. You see, for well over a decade, the wealthy Grayson family had exclusively ordered their high-end desserts from her shop. Because of that VIP status, she literally knew every single one of the Grayson family's phone numbers entirely by heart. But the real reason she was so utterly stunned right now? She hadn't seen this specific number pop up on her caller ID in 3 whole years. Yeah, it's me, I chuckled. I just got back in the country and I want to order your absolute biggest cake. Can you guys manage to pull that off today? She paused. Wait, are you ordering this for Miss Collins? Normally, right around this time every single year, the Graysons would heavily splurge on a massive cake for Nina. Literally everyone at the bakery knew the drill. However, the receptionist awkwardly felt the need to point something out. The custom cake ordered by the second young master has actually already been delivered. Wow, I honestly didn't expect Aaron to be that incredibly thoughtful. My half-brother usually looked out for me in every possible way, even going out of his way to handle a tiny detail like ordering the cake. Just thinking about how much he cared, a super relieved, warm smile slowly spread across my face. Oh, then there's absolutely no need. Thanks anyway, I replied happily. Honestly, there was zero shame in me showing up totally empty-handed. After all, we're blood family. With that happy thought in my head, I looked back out at the fast-moving scenery. The closer my cab got to our corporate headquarters, the insanely richer and nicer the surroundings became. I mean, it makes total sense. After all, my family's massive conglomerate is easily one of the absolute top-tier enterprises in the entire city. Right while I was completely lost in my thoughts, the taxi smoothly pulled over to the curb. We're here, buddy. I paid the fare, tipped the guy, and stepped out only to instantly notice something insanely weird. Wait, why the hell did the company name change? What on earth is the Rockrest Group? Highly suspicious and confused, I quickly scanned my surroundings. No, I'm not crazy. This is 100% the Grayson family's property. Literally, every single towering building looks exactly the same as it did before. But right before I could even wrap my head around this bizarre name change, 2 corporate employees wearing ID badges rushed right past me. Wait, didn't Mr. Grayson explicitly say yesterday that he wasn't coming in today? One muttered. Yeah, but we seriously need to stay on top of this massive proposal. Man, Mr. Grayson is just so incredibly experienced. Under his genius leadership, our quarterly profits have literally multiplied over the last 3 years. Hearing that, I quickly stepped up and stopped them in their tracks. Hey, hold up a second. Is the Mr. Grayson you guys are talking about Arthur Grayson? The guy blinked. Yeah, it is. The employee shot me a really awkward, questioning smile. Oh, my bad. It's nothing then, I chuckled, waving them off. Sorry to bother you guys. The 2 of them gave me the most bizarre, weirded-out look before hurrying off into the lobby. Okay, so my family's massive corporation just casually changed its name. Just like that, all the burning questions and deep anxiety that had just started welling up inside my chest instantly vanished into thin air. Confidently stepping right through the grand main entrance of the corporate building, a voice called out, "Hello there! Who are you here to see?" Seeing me stroll in, the receptionist immediately stood up, looking totally professional. She actually greeted me with this perfectly sweet, welcoming smile. Hey there, I said casually. My name is Ethan Grayson. I'm actually Arthur Grayson's son. I'm the official executive CEO of this entire conglomerate. Could you please do me a favor and let my dad know I'm here? Just tell him his son is finally back in the country and I'm heading straight upstairs right now. But the exact second those confident words left my mouth, she literally burst out laughing right in my face, her previous polite respect instantly vanishing into absolute mockery. Her polite smile was instantly replaced by pure, unfiltered disdain. "Sir, are you absolutely sure you are in the right place? There is only one executive CEO named Grayson in this entire corporation, and that happens to be our director, Mr. Arthur Grayson. And you have the absolute nerve to claim you are his son? Well, Mr. Grayson only has one son working here, and that is our chairman, Mr. Aaron Grayson. My brother?" I stood there, completely bewildered. "Do you not even bother to do a simple background check before lying to my face?" She scoffed. "Aaron became the chairman too? 3 years ago, when my grandpa passed away, the family lawyer made it crystal clear when reading the will. 80% of the Rockwood Group shares and tens of billions in Grayson family assets were to be fairly competed for between me and my father, Arthur Grayson. Whoever met the inheritance conditions first would earn the ultimate right to inherit absolutely everything. Before that will was ever executed, both my father and I were executive CEOs of this massive conglomerate, managing all corporate affairs together. The will did not contain a single mention of Aaron. He had absolutely nothing to do with it. I managed to force a weak smile and asked, "Is it at all possible there has been some kind of huge mistake? Everything I am saying is the absolute truth. The Aaron Grayson you just mentioned is actually my younger brother." The receptionist maintained a polite but incredibly strained smile. "Is that so? I have been working here for 3 years, and I have never once heard that Chairman Grayson has an older brother." But I dug my heels in, stubbornly insisting, "Arthur Grayson really is my father. If I were a fraud, how would I even know his name?" The receptionist's lips twitched in pure annoyance. She finally decided to drop the pleasantries. "Way too many people know our director's name. I do not know where you caught wind that our director would not be in today, prompting you to run over here and pose as his son. But let me give you a piece of advice. Fraud is a terrible career path." She lectured me in this patronizing tone, leaving me caught between a laugh and a cry of pure frustration. "You really have this all wrong. I am his 100% legitimate son." "Right, and I am Elon Musk's daughter," she shot back. "You are a good-looking guy. You could do literally anything else for a living. Why resort to this kind of dirty, cheap trick? I bet you are just trying to sneak into our director's office to steal something, aren't you? Look at those cheap knockoff designer clothes you are wearing. You dress up all nice, but who would have ever thought you were just a low-life con artist?" When I walked in earlier, the receptionist totally thought I was some high-rolling VIP client, but it turned out she now thought I was just a total fraud. I am really not lying to you. My dad and I are both executive CEOs of this conglomerate. Just yesterday, someone else claimed to be our Chairman Collins' boyfriend, making a massive scene right here in the lobby. It was hilarious. You would actually have way more credibility if you used that excuse instead. I grew even more confused. "Are you talking about Nina Collins?" "I really am her boyfriend." The receptionist rolled her eyes so hard she almost passed out. "Right. And I am Timothée Chalamet's secret wife. You really just do not know when to quit, do you? If you do not leave right now, I will have security kick you to the curb." Knowing it was entirely useless to argue with her, I could only speak patiently. "Just patch me through to the internal line. I will speak to Mr. Grayson myself. That is the best and fastest way to prove my identity." The receptionist gave me a massive, exaggerated eye roll. "Sir, if you keep being this painfully stubborn, I am seriously going to call the cops. Now, get out. Today is a major celebration. Do not bring your bad luck around here." I pressed on and asked, "What major celebration?" "Ah, so you really do not know. Today is the birthday of our future young mistress, Chairman Collins. All the top executives have gone up to the Sky Garden to celebrate with her. Meanwhile, you are standing down here like a total idiot, posing as Mr. Grayson's son. Instead of wasting time on scams, you should try to find a way up there to see what the real heir of the Grayson family actually looks like." I knew continuing to talk to her would be a total waste of time. I hailed a taxi and got in, feeling both deeply annoyed and darkly amused by the sheer absurdity of it all. Should I say this receptionist was intentionally making things insanely difficult, or that she was just doing her job a little too well? I pulled out my phone to call my parents, but after several attempts, no one answered. Then, I called my brother, and after that, I called Nina Collins. But without a single exception, out of all four of them, not one person picked up my calls. I turned to the driver and asked, "Hey man, I wanted to ask you about something. How did the Rockwood Group suddenly become the Rockcrest Group?" "No idea, buddy. I've been driving here for 2 years, and it has always been the Rockcrest Group. I have never heard of any Rockwood Group in my life." I nodded slowly and stopped questioning him. Once we finally arrived at the Grand East Hotel, I made my way to the penthouse Sky Garden. Because I did not have a physical invitation, the two burly security guards absolutely refused to let me in, no matter how much I tried to explain myself. They remained completely unyielding, showing absolutely zero flexibility. "Move along, buddy. Move along. Do not block the way. I swear I really am Arthur Grayson's son. If you don't back off right now, we're gonna have to get physical." "Wait, isn't that Ethan?" A familiar grinning face suddenly stepped right into my line of sight. I looked up. Sean? After 3 years apart, the guy had somehow gotten even more ridiculously handsome. The second those two security guards spotted him, their entire demeanor flipped, and they scrambled to greet him. "Good evening, Mr. Hudson." Sean completely brushed them off, locking his gaze right back onto me instead. "Man, when did you even get back to the States? How come I didn't hear a single peep about this from my boy-crazy sister?" "Just a couple of days ago. The old man was hounding her to get married, and she actually used you as her ultimate human shield. She flat out told him that if he wanted her hitched, he'd better go clone someone exactly like you. It absolutely cracked us all up. Sean, seriously, stop teasing me. You've been roasting me non-stop since we were literal kids. Come on, how is that roasting you? To catch the eye of my extremely picky sister and have her chase you for 3 straight years? Bro, you completely shattered the record for the longest pursuit. You are easily the hardest catch in town." Sean threw his head back, laughing, and gave my shoulder a heavy clap. "Sean, I mean it. Stop joking around. You honestly got here at the perfect time. These guys refuse to believe who I am, so could you please just vouch for me?" Sean tapped his chin, putting on a thoughtfully dramatic face. And what exactly is in it for me? Just consider it a massive personal favor. I will absolutely pay you back later, as long as it's within my power. Just name your price, man." Sean smirked, turning to the guards. "You boys see him clearly now? If you know what's good for you, get out of his way." How on earth could those two guards have known that the guy standing right in front of them was the actual young master of the Grayson family? Panicking, they quickly stepped aside to let me through, and I gave Sean a grateful nod. But just as I was about to walk inside, Sean called out, "Though honestly, Ethan, you really picked the absolute worst day to show up." "I don't get what you mean by that, Sean. From what I've heard, there is a phenomenal front-row drama about to unfold. And you know me, I absolutely live for this kind of spectacle. If it wasn't top-tier entertainment, I never would have shown up in person." I stood there, completely mystified by his cryptic warning. Suddenly, the massive venue lights dimmed sharply, leaving a single blinding spotlight tracking directly onto the stage. There stood my father, Arthur Grayson, absolutely beaming with pride. "I have a truly wonderful piece of news to announce tonight regarding my son's marriage." The entire high society crowd went dead silent in unison, waiting with bated breath. A corporate merger? Wait, when did that even happen? I felt completely bewildered, but at the same time, my curiosity piqued. Is Dad actually about to announce my marriage to Nina Collins? But why on earth wouldn't he discuss it with me beforehand? First, let us all warmly welcome the Grayson family's future daughter-in-law, Nina Collins, onto the stage. Arthur Grayson took the lead, clapping enthusiastically. Standing hidden below the stage in the crowd, I smiled and joined in the applause. I hadn't seen her in 3 long years, and Nina looked noticeably slimmer. A warm, gentle smile graced her face, making her look even more radiant and approachable than I remembered. Just watching her from afar, my heart swelled. She was absolutely perfect. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome my son, Aaron Grayson, onto the stage. Following my father's booming announcement, the entire room erupted into deafening applause as my younger brother, Aaron, strutted onto the stage with a slick smile. Not having seen him in 3 years, he definitely looked a lot more mature. But what happened next was something my brain simply could not process. Nina Collins was actually holding hands with Aaron Grayson. The two of them gazed affectionately into each other's eyes, looking exactly like a deeply, sickeningly infatuated couple. It felt like a massive lightning bolt had struck me right out of the blue. I couldn't even keep my footing, stumbling a heavy step backward in shock. I could not believe it. My very own girlfriend and my own younger brother were actually up there, about to announce their marriage. Sean quickly reached out, grabbing my arm to steady me. "Whoa, can't even handle this much?" Sean whispered. "Brace yourself, man, the real show hasn't even started yet." Up on stage, Arthur Grayson's hearty, booming laughter rang out across the room. On this beautiful, momentous day, I am incredibly proud to announce the ultimate union of the Grayson and Collins families. My son, Aaron, will be officially marrying the brilliant heiress of the Collins family, Nina Collins. Their grand wedding will be held on the 28th of next month. Today is not only the massive celebration of the third anniversary of the historic merger between Rockwood Group and Collins Corporation, but it is also our lovely Nina's birthday banquet and their official engagement party. Those words engagement party hit me like a brutal sledgehammer to the skull. I was completely, utterly blindsided. The room spun. All I could feel was a deafening ringing in my ears and an unprecedented, agonizing pain viciously piercing straight through my heart. The woman I had deeply loved for 8 whole years was getting engaged to my own flesh and blood. How was this nightmare even happening to me on what was supposed to be a wonderful day? But my father wasn't done. However, I also have a deeply, deeply regrettable matter to announce to you all today. My eldest son, Ethan Grayson, was tragically involved in a fatal plane crash yesterday. From this terrible day forward, I, Arthur Grayson, am left with Aaron as my one and only son. With Ethan's sudden, tragic passing, he naturally forfeits all of his inheritance rights to the family empire. Therefore, the future operations and legacy of this vast conglomerate will rest entirely upon the capable shoulders of Aaron and Nina. The very second my father uttered those sickening words, the entire venue fell into a state of absolute, paralyzed shock. While silently mourning my supposed death, the elite guests couldn't help but steal greedy, calculating glances at Nina and Aaron, the untouchable, newly crowned rulers of the empire. And there I was, a living ghost, watching it all unfold. Looks like the Rockcrest group was officially changing hands. Man, I never expected things to blow up in my face quite like this. My own father had rushed to declare me dead, making it painfully obvious I meant absolutely nothing to him. Even after my accident, did the old man seriously not even bother looking for me? When I shipped Ethan off overseas 3 years ago, my original plan was for him to master perfumery so he could come back and help run the empire. I just never expected fate to brutally cut his life short. I guess it just wasn't his destiny. But hey, today is a joyous occasion, so let's push the whole Ethan tragedy aside for now. Let's not waste another second dwelling on it. Everyone, please, eat, drink, and enjoy yourselves. Cheers. Here is to our empire growing bigger, better, and stronger. Arthur confidently raised his glass to the cheering crowd as he wrapped up his little speech. Every single guest in the grand hall raised their glasses right back. Meanwhile, standing in the shadows, my heart felt like it was being violently shredded by a meat cleaver. Staring up at the stage, at that beaming, radiant guy soaking up the applause, I honestly couldn't believe my eyes. Was this cold-blooded stranger really my dad? Dad, don't forget you still have me and Aaron to take care of you from now on. So please, don't be sad about Ethan anymore. After raising her elegant glass for a toast, my supposed fiancée, Nina Collins, gently grabbed his arm and gracefully guided him down the stage steps. She is right, Dad. Even though you tragically lost one son, you gained an amazing daughter in Nina. Honestly, heaven has been pretty damn good to you. You win some, you lose some, right? Aaron smirked, grabbing his other arm, while Arthur proudly patted my beloved little brother on the shoulder. Mr. Lewis from the Lewis Group is actually here today, along with Mr. Campbell from Vanguard. Come on, let me take you two over to rub elbows with them. Eleanor, you come along too. I will be traveling a ton for business soon, so I will have to rely on you to look after these precious kids. Oh, stop it, what are you even saying? After all, I am the new chairwoman of this company. Even if they weren't my own flesh and blood, I would still take spectacular care of them. My two-faced stepmother, Eleanor, flashed a sickeningly sweet smile. I stared at the four of them acting like the perfect, happy family and suddenly felt like a total ghost. Watching this twisted scene unfold right in front of me, my whole body started shaking. I had only been gone for 3 short years, but my entire world had been completely flipped upside down. Arthur proudly paraded them around the fancy ballroom, schmoozing with the top CEOs of every major corporation. The picture-perfect family of 4 laughed and gossiped as they strolled over to the VIP dining table ready to feast. "Wow, you all look so thrilled. Did I miss the punchline?" The second my voice echoed through the hall, the smug smiles instantly melted right off the faces of my lovely family. Aaron was the very first to snap out of it, his eyes practically bugging out of his skull. "Ethan? You are actually back? Wait, what the hell is going on? What, am I not supposed to come back home? You are not dead? Oh, were you praying I would kick the bucket? No, I just meant, this is literally impossible." Aaron clearly never expected his big brother to crash his party still breathing. Arthur's face instantly dropped, looking just as completely horrified as Aaron. "Ethan, wait. Didn't your plane go down in flames?" I watched the news report myself. It literally said, "0 survivors." I let out a sharp, mocking laugh that cut through the silence. "So, without even launching a search party, you just rushed ahead and officially pronounced me a corpse?" Words cannot even begin to describe the absolute disgust I felt right then. My very own flesh-and-blood father had casually announced my tragic death like he was reading a grocery list. Sensing the massive awkwardness, Eleanor desperately tried to smooth things over with a fake, scolding smile. "Ethan, sweetie, you are being incredibly naughty. Since you miraculously survived, you really should have called home just to tell us you were safe. You have absolutely no idea how sick with worry the 4 of us were. None of us could sleep a single wink last night. Oh, is that a fact? Because you all look pretty damn refreshed to me. Honestly, not a single one of you looks like you missed even a second of beauty sleep." I slowly lifted my cold gaze to meet theirs. If anything, realizing you were about to inherit every last dime under my name must have made you jump for joy, didn't it? Catching my hostile tone, Arthur instantly barked like a cornered dog. "Ethan, how dare you speak to your own mother that way? Look, I know all about Nina and Aaron. I get that it is a massive shock for you to process, but with all these VIP guests watching, you better show some basic respect for the Grayson family's spotless reputation. Drop this pathetic, childish tantrum right now." "Oh, and who exactly is going to respect my dignity?" I turned a burning, resentful glare straight at Nina Collins. Honestly, if she had just given me one rational excuse, I might have actually let the whole damn thing slide. But nope, she didn't show even a microscopic shred of guilt. "Ethan, about me and Aaron, I am honestly so sorry. The only reason I kept it a secret from you was because I knew you would get totally hysterical like this." Hysterical? I was just stabbed in the back by the only people I ever loved and trusted. And what? I am supposed to just swallow the pain, smile, and eat the garbage you feed me without getting mad? Over the last 8 years, if you had just found the guts to be honest with me for one single day, things never would have blown up like this. You looked me in the eye and said you loved me, while secretly jumping into bed with my little brother, Nina Collins. So this is what your cheap love actually looks like. The words spilled out of me, burning with a toxic mix of pure rage and absolute heartbreak. Literally just yesterday, she was texting me how much she adored me. How could everything crash and burn so fast today? Well, no one can really predict how matters of the heart will play out, sweetie. Eleanor arrogantly adjusted her designer shawl, lecturing me like I was a clueless toddler. Nina and Aaron are deeply, passionately in love now, so get over it. Are you really cold-blooded enough to tear them apart? Look, you can't force love. Instead of throwing a massive tantrum, you should just bow out gracefully and give them your blessing. We are all family here anyway. Does it honestly make a difference if Nina chose you or if she chose Aaron? Hell yeah, it does, I roared back at them. It makes a massive difference. Aaron is Aaron, and I am me. I am the rightful heir to this empire, and he's not. Wait, didn't you hear what your father just announced? Aaron is an heir now, too. Besides, you made it back just in time. Nina is pregnant, and Aaron has his hands completely full. So, you can work under him and help him out. I nearly lost my balance, feeling like I'd just been struck by a bolt of lightning. Seriously, why you guys? Why did it have to be you guys? Not in my wildest dreams did I ever imagine that they were already expecting a baby together. Ethan, in just a few short months, my baby is going to be born. You are going to be an uncle so soon. Aren't you even a little happy for us? Aaron finished his little speech, a smug, totally provocative gleam flashing right in his eyes. It was such a blatant, sickening display of dominance. How could I possibly miss that look? Ethan, you've been studying abroad since you were just a kid, and you're so incredibly smart. Why don't you help us name our baby? Aaron knew damn well that I was dying inside. Yet, he deliberately rubbed handfuls of salt right into my open wounds. You know, that is actually a wonderful idea, Arthur chimed in, totally agreeing with him. Ethan, if it makes you feel any better, you can have the kid call you Godfather, and you get to pick the name. What do you say to that? I just let out a cold, bitter laugh. Was this sick joke supposed to be an act of charity? If things hadn't gone down exactly like this, I never would have realized that my own flesh and blood could be so utterly shameless. Fine, then let's name the kid Miles. I spat with a freezing sneer, so that when this kid finally grows up, he can stay miles away from you toxic people. How about that? Eleanor immediately snapped in pure anger. Ethan, have all the manners I've painstakingly taught you over the years gone completely to waste? Well, Eleanor, why don't you focus on fixing your own garbage manners first? I slowly picked up a glass of red wine. Since you two are getting married, shouldn't I be the one to propose a toast to the happy couple? Aaron kept up his fake, gentlemanly composure. I am genuinely so glad you made it back alive. Nina and I really, truly need your blessing for our wedding. I flashed a dark smile and said, Then I wish you total infertility and a house completely full of bastards. With that, I violently splashed the entire glass of wine directly into his smug face. Nina Collins gasped out loud in absolute, sheer horror. Ethan, you have gone way too far this time. No matter what happened, Aaron is still your own brother. How could you possibly do something so awful? You are completely uncultured, Arthur yelled, clearly never expecting that I would commit such an outrageous, massive breach of high society etiquette. Yet, I didn't see a single damn thing wrong with what I just did. Instead, I grabbed another glass of wine, marched right up to Nina Collins and said, And this glass is just for you. May we never, ever cross paths again for the rest of our miserable lives. The second those words left my mouth, I hurled the red wine right at her. Eleanor tried to block it, but she was a split second too late. The dark, crimson liquid splashed everywhere, completely ruining Nina Collins's perfect, expensive makeup. Watching my own father and my so-called girlfriend fussing so desperately over that bastard, my heart just throbbed with a vicious, totally agonizing pain. Were these terrible people really the family I once knew and loved? I violently smashed the empty wine glass onto the hard floor, locking a purely hateful gaze right onto Arthur Grayson. I venomously spat out every single syllable. This shattered glass is exactly like the bonds between us. It can never, ever be made whole again. From this day forward, we are completely dead to one another. You guys can walk your bright, sunny path, and I will cross my own narrow bridge. Like a wounded, solitary wolf, I turned my back and walked away, completely vanishing from everyone's sight. Outside, without me even realizing it, a torrential downpour had already begun. Overcome with heavy grief, I walked straight out into the raging storm, fully accepting the freezing baptism of this cruel world. It is time to wake up. I have been a total fool for 8 long years. It is finally time to snap out of this delusion. The damp, freezing rain ruthlessly drenched my very soul. I just burst into a hollow, miserable laugh, feeling as if my entire pathetic existence was nothing but a massive joke. My manic laughter gradually gave way to hot, bitter tears. As the heavy storm completely soaked my body, I sank into a deep, dark agony that I just could not escape from. Multiple cars started honking their horns furiously at me. Hey, are you totally insane? If you want to die, go do it somewhere else. Don't ruin my damn car. Get out of the street. Move it. Are you completely deaf? Didn't you hear the horn? I just laughed out loud, totally hysterically. I was acting just like a raving madman. The harsher the drivers screamed at me, the more joyfully and wildly I laughed. Suddenly, a sleek black car sped right through the intersection, hurtling straight toward my body. I instantly recognized the model, the license plate, and the color. Wait, wasn't this Nina Collins' car? I stood frozen in place, completely dazed. Nina actually came out to find me. She must have realized that she was horribly wrong. So, She is coming here to beg for my forgiveness. I honestly didn't know whether I should forgive her or not. These 8 years of love were like delicate embroidery, stitch by stitch, thread by thread, woven inextricably into the very fabric of my youth. To completely cut out the part of my core memories that belonged to her, I just couldn't bring myself to do it. Then, with a heavy, sickening thud, I watched with my own 2 eyes as that black car slammed brutally right into me. For a split second, my mind just went totally blank. She actually wanted me dead. My eyes flew wide open. I couldn't believe it. Just because I splashed a single glass of wine on Erin, she actually drove all the way out here just to run me down and kill me? A crazy, unsettling laugh bubbled up in my throat. My body slammed hard against the wet pavement, and everything went completely black. The freezing rain poured mercilessly down on me as a bright crimson pool spread across the concrete. "Ma'am, we hit someone," an anxious voice suddenly cried out. I'm not used to driving Director Collins's car. By the time I saw someone in the pouring rain, I couldn't brake in time. The woman in the back seat didn't even bat an eye. Her voice was pure ice. Just get someone to handle it. Chloe reached up to wipe the fogged windshield, squinting to get a better look. "Ma'am, I think that's Mr. Grayson." "Wait, I hit Mr. Grayson?" Those words instantly made the Ice Queen in the back seat snap her head up. "It is him." With a heavy thud, the car door flew open. Vivian Vance practically sprinted toward the lifeless figure. Before Chloe could even process it, her boss was already kneeling in the mud, straining to lift the bleeding man. "Chloe, watch out for your own injuries. Call Dr. Evans and head straight home." "Yes, ma'am." Vivian stared down at the man resting in her arms. It was pouring buckets out here. What on earth was Ethan doing standing out in this storm? Didn't he even try to get out of the way when the car came? The blood leaking from the back of his head mixed with the heavy rain, completely soaking Vivian's expensive dress in dark crimson. "Chloe, step on it! Right away, ma'am!" Chloe was already pushing the gas pedal as far down as humanly possible. Chloe gunned the engine all the way into the West Coast estates. This gated neighborhood, easily the most expensive real estate in all of East City, was where Vivian Vance called home. "Welcome home, ma'am." Following close behind Vivian's frantic footsteps, a whole team of doctors and nurses trailed right into the massive living room. Their boss, who had always been a massive, neat freak, was actually letting a dripping, wet, bloody guy onto her pristine bed. And a man, of all things? The medical staff exchanged completely bewildered glances. "Ma'am, shouldn't we start bandaging this gentleman's wounds?" "Get out, all of you." What exactly was she planning to do? Just then, a maid quietly walked in carrying a basin of warm water. Once the room was totally empty, she actually reached out and carefully peeled off my soaking wet shirt. A warm, soothing towel began wiping gently back and forth across my battered body. "Come in." Hearing their boss's command, the nervous crowd waiting out in the hallway finally filed back into the bedroom. Their jaws practically dropped when they saw Vivian personally wiping me down. "Quick, dress his wounds right now!" Chloe stood off to the side, silently marveling to herself. Our boss actually just checked this guy out, looking him up and down, inspecting every single inch of his body. This kind of grunt work could easily be handed off to a nurse, or heck, at least given to me. How could a woman of her status do such menial labor herself? "Don't. Please don't go." I suddenly grabbed the edge of the doctor's white coat, groaning in pure agony. "Doctor." Evans flinched hard, his hands slipping and pressing the medicine way too heavily into the cut. I gasped sharply from the blinding pain. "Get the hell away from him." Vivian violently shoved Dr. Evans aside. "You clumsy idiot. You can't even handle a basic task like this." Furious, Vivian snatched the supplies and personally began to apply the medicine to my wounds. Why would you do this to me?" I muttered in a daze. "Why?" Vivian paused. "Why? What is going on here? Did someone dare to mistreat Ethan?" "Chloe, go find out exactly what happened to him." "Yes, ma'am." Everyone was stunned. Since when had the cold and aloof Vivian ever cared this deeply about a man? And another thing, replace all the servants in this house with men. Because Vivian had actively avoided men for years, every single worker on the entire estate was a woman. That was the exact reason she had personally wiped down my bare chest earlier. "Sir. Oh, you're finally awake." "Well, who are you?" "I'm the servant specifically assigned to look after you, sir." "Where?" Where am I? To answer your question, sir, you are currently at the West Coast Estates. The West Coast Estates? You mean the most wildly expensive, high-end French villa district in all of East City? How the heck did I end up here? Assistant Chloe accidentally hit you with her car, sir. Do you remember now? Before I could even try to piece the memories back together, a sharp, throbbing pain shot straight through the back of my skull. You hit your head pretty hard when you fell, sir. Luckily, the wound isn't too deep. The doctor has already got it all bandaged up for you. I just sat there for a second before the whole crazy chain of events came rushing back to me like a freight train. Just as I tried to swing my legs out of bed, the servant hurriedly stepped forward to stop me. Hold on, sir. Surely you haven't completely forgotten who my boss is, right? I really had no clue. Right after taking that bumper to the chest, I completely blacked out. As for who actually saved my life, I never even got a chance to look. Where is your boss anyway? She went to take a shower, sir. She got totally soaked in the freezing rain while carrying you inside today. It was right then I finally realized that, at some point, I had been stripped down and changed into a plush bathrobe. What on earth was going on here? Sir, you were completely drenched by the storm. It was an emergency, and just to make sure you didn't catch pneumonia, we made sure to get you into a warm bathrobe. Wait a minute. How exactly did I get changed into this thing? Did you strip me? Sir, are you feeling any other pain right now? No, nothing. By the way, where are my clothes? They've already been washed and are in the drying room. Just give me one moment, please. I'll go grab them for you right away. The maid offered a deep, respectful bow before quietly stepping out of the room. I took a good look around. The whole place was decked out in crazy, expensive, luxurious decor, and even the maid's manners were absolutely flawless. That alone made it crystal clear whoever owned this estate was seriously loaded and swimming in power. Even though the person who actually hit me with that car wasn't Mina Collins, those 8 years we spent together had grown deep roots in my heart. Now that she had ruthlessly ripped them out, the pure, agonizing betrayal made every single breath I took shake with pain. Sir, here are your clothes. They're still a little damp, though. Are you absolutely sure you want to put them on? I gave a tired nod. You can go now. I'll handle the rest. But man, I had barely untied my towel when a smooth, seductive voice suddenly echoed through the room. The bedroom door swung wide open. I heard you finally woke up. A stunning, slender woman strolled right in. Never in a million years did I expect anyone to walk in on me like this. You? What the hell are you doing in here? She just curled her red lips into a smirk. This happens to be my house. What? I stood there completely frozen, my brain short-circuiting for a solid few seconds. Get out. The woman just let out a soft, amused laugh. Is that really how you kick a homeowner out of her very own bedroom? Besides, it's not like there's anything worth looking at anyway. What's the big deal? Hold up. What does she mean? Nothing worth looking at. Damn it, didn't your parents ever teach you any basic manners? You don't just barge in without knocking. Why on earth would I knock before walking into my own bedroom? I was completely speechless. Wait, this is your bedroom? Those clothes you're holding aren't even dry yet. If you don't want that nasty cold of yours to get any worse, you need to take them off right now. Honestly, I go out of my way to bring you clothes, and I just get yelled at. What is this world coming to? I shook my head, totally confused. I have a cold? Well, that explains why my head felt like a ton of bricks. So, you're the one who saved me? I realized I really had been acting like a total jerk just now. Anyway, thank you so much for saving my life. It's getting pretty late, so I should probably hit the road. Hit the road? And where exactly do you think you're going to go? I've already had my people look into everything. I know exactly what went down at the Sky Garden. I can just crash at a hotel for now. It's already way too late anyway. If you walk out of my estate completely alone right now, people who don't know the truth will think I just tossed you out on the street. Wouldn't that totally ruin my good reputation? I couldn't help but roll my eyes internally. This crazy woman was actively being hunted down by 2 massive underworld syndicates. What kind of good reputation could she possibly have left to ruin? But honestly, I could hear the genuine care in her voice. She really wanted me to stay until my wounds fully healed. Besides, you saved my life once before, so let's just call this returning the favor. Just crash here until you can get back on your feet and find a real place to live. Then Vivian casually tossed in, "Oh, and don't worry about anything happening. I have absolutely zero interest in scrawny little guys like you. A scrawny little guy? Did she seriously just have the nerve to call me scrawny? Does your head still hurt? No, it doesn't. Good. Then get some rest first. I'll go downstairs and check if dinner is ready. Once she left, I just looked down at the brand new set of clothes resting in my hands. They were the exact perfect size and my exact style. Could she really have gone out and bought these specifically for me? I quickly shook the thought out of my head. Yeah, right. There must be guys staying over at her place all the time, which is probably why her staff keeps clothes stocked in every possible size. I dragged myself to the bathroom, just planning to take a hot shower, when I caught sight of my totally deathly pale reflection in the mirror. Who could ever actually love a pathetic mess looking like this? I guess it's only natural that Nina Collins finally fell out of love with me. Just thinking her name Nina made my chest throb with an excruciating, suffocating pain. All 8 years of our love had morphed into a jagged blade, ruthlessly stabbing me right in the heart when I was completely off guard. I have no idea how much time slipped away before Vivian started knocking on the bedroom door. Hey, come on down and eat. Don't tell me you actually fell asleep in there. She pushed the bedroom door open, greeted only by a warm, yellow glow spilling out from the bathroom. Thick, heavy steam was leaking out from the crack beneath the bathroom door. Vivian Vance was just about to turn around and leave when a sudden, piercing alarm started blaring from inside the bathroom. She immediately knew something was horribly wrong. She desperately twisted the doorknob, only to realize the damn thing was locked from the inside. Ethan, can you hear me? Open this door right now. As a thick, suffocating cloud of hot steam billowed out, there I was completely collapsed on the cold floor. Vivian rushed in and hauled me up. Ethan! Hey, wake up! Doctor, get the doctor in here. Ma'am, you called for me? Redress his wounds right this second. Yes, right away, ma'am. I'll change the bandages immediately, Vivian muttered, her voice trembling slightly. You idiot. Passing out just from taking a hot shower? The second I take my eyes off you, you completely fall apart. Ma'am, his infected wounds have triggered a dangerously high fever. I'm afraid this gentleman might— I don't care. Do whatever it takes, but you have to break his fever right now. Just make absolutely sure he makes it through this. Yes, ma'am, understood. I really don't know how many hours faded away before I finally, groggily forced my eyes open again. My last memory was how suffocating that bathroom had felt. You're finally awake? Do you feel sick anywhere else? I nodded, then frantically shook my head. Are you? Nina? I blinked hard, desperately trying to focus on the blurry woman standing right in front of me. I strained to prop my heavy body up. Does your head still hurt? She asked softly. I nodded, but suddenly froze solid as I stared at the hazy silhouette before me. What's wrong? Are you in a lot of pain? I'll have Dr. Evans come in to check on you. I glared at her. You absolute cheater. How could you do something so twisted? Out of every single guy out there you could have loved, why did it have to be my own younger brother? You two already have a baby together. Hearing my drunken rant, Vivian's delicate eyebrows furrowed slightly in confusion. Could it be that Ethan is actually mistaking me for this Nina Collins? She murmured to herself. She is just one woman. There are plenty of other girls out there. She tried to soothe me. It's not the same, I yelled. My Nina was different from everyone else. You said you were in pain, she gently reminded. Let me just have the doctor check you over. I sobbed. It's completely useless. It hurts right here, deep in my chest. Why don't you love me anymore? Just tell me what I did wrong. Say it, and I swear I can change it all. In the next split second, my emotions boiled over. I threw my arms around Vivian and kissed her deeply. Vivian instantly felt her entire body flush with burning heat, and even her sharp gaze began to lose its focus in the heat of the moment. Ethan will be mine sooner or later, she thought, but definitely not like this. Right now, the poor guy doesn't even know who I really am. Early the very next morning, my heavy eyelids fluttered open, only to find that the massive bedroom was completely and utterly empty. I vaguely recalled passing out in the bathroom last night for some stupid reason, and I had absolutely zero idea what went down after that. Ugh. Just then, a maid cleaning the living room spotted me trudging downstairs. Mr. Grayson, you're finally awake. I will take you right down to the first floor so you can have some hot breakfast right away. No, thank you, I muttered. Where exactly is your lady? The maid offered a polite smile. Our lady left bright and early this morning for a major interview. An interview? I echoed. Just as I was scratching my head over that, a high-profile financial feature suddenly flashed onto the massive flat-screen television. A powerhouse female corporate boss? The unmarried heiress who actually topped the billionaire list for 6 consecutive years? Yep, that is exactly our lady, the maid beamed. No wonder I always felt like her name sounded suspiciously familiar. Holy crap, she is the big boss of the massive Aurora group. I had privately brainstormed a dozen wild possibilities for her true identity, but I never in a million years expected it to be something this insane. Our lady is pretty incredible, isn't she? Honestly, if you were to end up with our lady, Mr. Grayson, the two of you would definitely have the most gorgeous babies in the whole entire world. Babies? I choked out, quickly scrambling to change the super awkward subject. Hey, do you happen to know where my phone went? Your phone got completely soaked by the heavy rain yesterday, Mr. Grayson, but after we had it fully repaired, we placed it right back inside the room you just walked out of. Thanks a lot, I sighed. I trudged right back into the bedroom, and sure enough, after booting the device up, the signal instantly displayed full bars. However, my heart sank. I totally didn't expect that. Aside from a few spammy weather alerts, not a single family member had bothered to text or call to check if I was even alive. I literally ran out into the freezing, pouring rain yesterday like a madman. Did absolutely no one care whether I lived or died out there? I just stared blankly at the stupid glowing screen for a few agonizing minutes, a bitter, self-deprecating smile creeping onto my pale lips. God, how could I have been so incredibly foolish? Shaking my head, I dialed a very familiar number. Luke, it's me. Ethan, you absolute punk. You finally decided to call me back. Where the hell have you been all this time, man? I haven't heard a single damn word from you. I forced a weak chuckle. Well, aren't I calling to check in with you right now? Suddenly calling me from a domestic number out of nowhere. You didn't even bother to tell me you flew back to the country, just leaving me stranded all alone in the States. You seriously have zero conscience, bro. Look, I only came back so suddenly because some incredibly urgent business popped up out of nowhere. Anyway, let's get right down to business. Have you ever heard of a woman named Vivian Vance? Wait, you mean the powerhouse CEO of the Aurora Group, Vivian Vance? Of course I know her. She is literally the top unmarried bachelorette in the entire country, the ultimate dream woman of countless wealthy men. Why do you ask? Wait, do you owe that billionaire money? Or are you secretly trying to become her little boy toy? What the heck are you even talking about? I really had to admire my best friend's wildly overactive imagination. I am literally chilling at her massive mansion right now. Holy crap. What? Ethan, look, man. I'm really not trying to lecture you here. But how could you possibly step out on your girl, Nina Collins, with another woman? Even if Vivian Vance is absolutely drop-dead gorgeous, you still shouldn't be cheating. What kind of crazy, twisted nonsense are you imagining right now? I snapped back. Listen, a whole lot of messed up stuff has happened to me over the past couple of days. I know that if I tell you the truth right now, you definitely won't even believe me. Nina actually hooked up with that bastard Aaron a long, long time ago. She was secretly sleeping with my brother Aaron the entire time she was happily staying in touch with me. And get this, now she's even pregnant with his child. Wait, what? Nina Collins actually dared to pull something that purely evil. Yeah, and I only found out the ugly truth yesterday myself. Yesterday was supposed to be her special birthday. But I never in a million damn years expected that she would actually get engaged to my own flesh and blood brother. And did you know the worst part? Yesterday was also the 3rd anniversary of the Rockwood Group's corporate merger. What merger? Luke gasped. They have been merged for 3 whole years, and I only found out about it yesterday. Pretty downright pathetic, right? Even the massive family inheritance legally under my name has been completely compromised behind my back. Aaron is now sitting pretty as the chairman of the entire conglomerate. Hell, even my two-faced stepmother has officially become a board director too. Man, what is even going on over there? I distinctly remember that your grandpa's final will didn't leave those two a single dime. Exactly, Luke. Their greedy intentions are completely crystal clear to me now. On one hand, they slyly wormed their way into the conglomerate early on to build shady connections with the internal staff, all while eagerly waiting in the shadows to steal a massive piece of the pie the second my dad inherits everything. I gotta admit, Their little scheme is working out perfectly. How absurd. What? This is absolutely outrageous. They are completely walking all over you, man. Just wait. I am booking a flight back right now to handle this for you. Whoa, hold on, man. My life is chaotic enough already. The only reason I am calling you is to ask for your advice on what to do next. What else is there to do? Obviously, you take back your inheritance first. I paused, letting out a heavy sigh. You just don't understand. To inherit the estate, 2 strict conditions must be met. Between my dad and me, whoever meets them first will earn the absolute right to inherit everything. What are the conditions? He laughed. First, both parties must successfully replicate the exact scent of the Rockwood Group's latest QV13 formula. What on earth is QV13? It was the final perfume formula Grandpa developed right before he passed away. It hasn't even hit the market yet. 3 years ago, Dad sent me abroad to master perfumery skills. Your dad is such a devious, cunning piece of work. How could he ever just hand the inheritance over to you? He claimed that no matter who officially inherits it, the assets should be shared out of family loyalty. By splitting them up, I let out a dejected grunt of agreement. I originally thought so too, but I never expected that upon returning after 3 years, things at home would be a completely different story. So, that QV13 formula, did you manage to crack it over the last 3 years? No. The process for this perfume is mind-bogglingly complex. Even though I have been able to distinguish all kinds of scents since I was just a kid, when it comes to this specific perfume, I am completely bested. I can only identify 1 or 2 notes. On top of that, the mixing process is extremely time-sensitive. Even the slightest deviation, and the entire scent profile changes completely. Man, what are you going to do? Your very first condition is already this impossible. You spent 3 years on it and still haven't figured it out. If you ask me, you might never stand a chance in this lifetime. You mentioned earlier that there are 2 conditions to inherit the estate. What is the second one? The heir must establish a happy and harmonious family. What? The bar is that high? Your grandpa might as well have just explicitly disqualified you from inheriting. Luke felt like my grandfather was intentionally making things impossible. But your grandpa adored you so much back then. How could he possibly set such an impossibly high inheritance bar? What exactly was he trying to do? Actually, it is not all that surprising. He wanted me to succeed in my studies and have a happy, fulfilling marriage. I think he used the inheritance to motivate me, hoping I would make something of myself in the future. Hoping I'd really make something of myself. Luke nodded. Yeah. What you are saying does make some sense. I began to worry. Dad has already met the second inheritance condition. He has a family, so now he is only missing the first condition. As long as he figures out the QV13 formula before I do, the Rockwood Group and tens of billions in assets are my grandfather's life's work. If they end up in the hands of Eleanor and Aaron in the future, Grandpa definitely won't be able to rest in peace. So, what do you plan to do? I said in a deep, serious voice. Dad has been running the conglomerate for the past 3 years, and no one knows. My father and I hold the exact same position as acting CEO of the conglomerate. What I am worried about is that the employees have long since treated him as the actual corporate CEO. To prevent me from returning to claim the inheritance, Eleanor might have already positioned her own people inside the conglomerate without anyone knowing. I might get kicked out before I even get to sit in the acting CEO's chair. What about the will? Bring it out and show it to those people. Would that even work? The will was left at home 3 years ago. I didn't take it with me when I went abroad. Am I supposed to go back and get it now? Of course. You absolutely have to go back and get it. Based on what you said, the Rockwood Group is your grandfather's life's work. No matter what, you have to take it back. If it falls into the hands of outsiders, your grandfather will definitely never rest in peace. He is right. This was originally mine. How could I just hand it over to someone else? If it were before, I would have been willing to give the inheritance to my father without holding anything back. But now, everything has changed. Dad is no longer the good father who used to dote on me back then. Or rather, he was never a good person to begin with. It is just that I never realized it until now. Since I am finally back home, I absolutely cannot let anyone see my weakness. Mr. Grayson, are you leaving? Our lady said that until you are fully recovered, you are not allowed to go anywhere. I am just going out to get some fresh air. Besides, does she really have the right to dictate my freedom? If you just walk out, I'm the one who has to face Our Lady's wrath. How about we compromise? Let me call and give her a heads up first, so she doesn't take it out on the staff. If we mess up our orders, our lives are going to be a living hell from here on out. You're making your boss sound like some kind of bloodthirsty monster. Is she seriously that terrifying? The servant gave a hesitant nod. She's way worse than a monster. What you see, Mr. Grayson, is strictly her gentle, patient side. When she actually loses her temper, the whole of East City shakes in fear. Well, if she's really that scary, I'll just talk to her myself. Relax. I won't let you take the fall for this. Jogging down the street, I was just about to dial Vivian Vance's number when my phone suddenly went off. An unknown number flashed across the screen. 9 times out of 10, I'd send it straight to voicemail. But right then, my gut told me it might actually be Vivian calling. Hello? Who is this? Do you still remember me? It's Tiffany Hudson. Why the hell is it you? Oh, so you do remember me. I must have left quite an impression on you. But seriously? You came all the way back to the States and didn't even bother to tell me? Didn't you want me to pick you up at the airport? Listen, I only need you to do exactly one thing for me. Stay far, far away. The further, the better. Sean must have leaked the news that I was back in town. There was no other way she could have tracked me down this fast. The second I hung up the phone, a flashy sports car screeched to a dead halt right in front of my feet. Ethan, long time no see. Wow, Ethan, why do you look so completely drained? Did something bad happen to you? None of your damn business. I turned and took a different route, completely desperate to avoid her. How the hell did she even know my exact location? Did that phone call just now have some kind of tracker on it? Ever since we were students, this woman has stuck to me like superglue, refusing to give me a single inch of breathing room. No matter what I tried, I could never shake her off. I had finally managed to escape overseas, buying myself 3 blissful years of peace and quiet. I never in a million years expected to be hunted down by her the absolute second I stepped foot back in the country. This boy-crazy lunatic used to actively chase after me while simultaneously leading on a dozen other guys. Her romantic life was an absolute reckless train wreck. How could anyone expect me to fall for a woman like that? Where are you running off to? Ethan, let's go together. If only this gorgeous man belonged to me, life would be perfect. Ethan, where are you heading? Let me give you a ride. I just shot her a cold glare. She was still completely full of superficial schemes and lacked any sort of filter. Even her taste in things was just as bizarrely chaotic as ever. Miss Hudson, have you seriously failed to lock down a single other man after all these years? Or has your so-called charm faded so much that guys aren't lining up at your door anymore? Are you really so desperate and lonely that you came running all the way over here to bother me? Ha ha, I am never lonely. Besides, I got bored of all those other men a long time ago. You're the absolute only one who stays on my mind. But Ethan, don't tell me you're still hung up on Nina Collins after all this time apart. I heard a rumor that she cheated on you, and the guy she's sleeping with is actually your own brother. What the hell does that matter to you? Of course it matters to me. Your business is my business. Hop in. I'll drive you over there so we can get some sweet payback on those trashy cheaters. Move out of my way. Don't block my path. Wow, this is genuinely the first time I've ever heard a man complain about me standing in his way. Ethan Grayson, do you have any idea that me standing on this pavement is an absolute privilege for this rundown street? Tiffany Hudson, can you please dig deep and find just a single shred of self-respect? Ooh, that is an excellent question. My dignity? I threw that in the trash the very second I started chasing after you. Ethan, you are always so wonderfully unique. You spit out all the harsh things that other people wouldn't even dare to whisper. I just absolutely love that about you. Ignoring her insanity, I flagged down a passing taxi and climbed inside. Driver, take me to Rockwood Villa, please. Why pass up a perfectly good luxury sports car just to ride in a musty cab? Tiffany Hudson truly couldn't wrap her twisted little head around why I loathed her so intensely. There were countless guys out there who would be utterly desperate to crawl into her bed. Yet I was the one glaring exception. But ironically, the colder I acted, the more intrigued and obsessed she became. Oh, Ethan, your taste is really just getting worse and worse. Riding around in a rolling piece of trash like this? Aren't you practically playing Russian roulette with your own life? If something bad happens to you, who the heck am I supposed to marry? Whoever gave you the idea that I was ever going to marry you? Besides, have you been living abroad for way too long? Can't you read basic road signs? Do you realize you're driving straight down the wrong side of the street, and you still have the nerve to claim I'm the one playing with my life? Do you even care about your own safety? Aw, Ethan, just admit it, you're secretly worried about me, aren't you? Unless you finally accept my feelings, I'm going to follow you straight to the ends of the earth. If we get into a crash, you'll just have to take care of me for the rest of my life. You are a complete psychopath. I didn't want to waste another breath on this lunatic. Driver, please just step on it and overtake her. Sir, the speed limit on this road is 40. I'm already doing 39. The sweating cab driver stole a panicked glance at Tiffany through the window and shuddered. Besides, who in their right mind would ever dare to pass the infamous Miss Hudson's car? That is basically a total death wish. Haha, well, at least the driver knows his place. I honestly couldn't stand watching this girl parade herself in public, acting like her family's money gave her a free pass to do whatever she wanted. She was totally above the law, treating traffic rules like they were invisible. She just drove however the hell she pleased, didn't she? She seriously acted like the streets belonged to her dad. A group of young guys on a city bus quickly spotted her. Tiffany was showing off in a bright, flashy sports car. Whoa! The chick driving is absolutely stunning. Is that really Miss Hudson? Man, she looks way hotter than she does in the magazines. Maybe she overheard the loud compliments from the guys on the street. Tiffany pressed a finger to her lips and blew a flirty kiss right in their direction. The dudes on the bus instantly lost their minds, cheering and howling. Drivers in the surrounding cars literally jumped out, abandoning their vehicles right in the middle of the street. They all swarmed around her, one after another. Before long, a massive, gridlocked traffic jam blocked the entire road, and the chaos on the side of the street was only getting worse by the second. Blaring car horns echoed everywhere, mixing with the shouting pedestrians. It was a total circus, fueled entirely by Tiffany Hudson's dramatic, over-the-top blown kisses. Trapped right in the dead center of the mob, I couldn't move an inch in any direction. All I could do was watch this absolute joke of a scene escalate right before my eyes. The burning rage in my chest was about to boil over. My only goal today was to take back the Rockwood group and finally make those traitors pay for what they did. I definitely didn't have time to stand here while Tiffany soaked up the spotlight, leaving me trapped in the crowd with a dark, furious scowl on my face. I shoved my way through the wall of onlookers. Tiffany, get out of my way right now. Do not mess with my plans. But Tiffany didn't tone it down at all. Listen up, everyone. This is the man I've loved for years. Ethan Grayson. Please look out for him from now on. The absolute second those words left her mouth, the crowd whipped out their phones and started snapping photos of us like crazy paparazzi. I violently slapped her hand away. When I spoke, my voice dropped into an absolutely freezing dark tone. I have absolutely nothing to do with you. Keep hounding me, and don't blame me when things get ugly. She stumbled back a step from my harsh shove, looking hurt. Ethan, I just want to help you. After the way Nina Collins and Aaron Grayson treated you like garbage, I'm the only one left who truly cares about you. I do not need your fake pity, I snapped. I had to get to Rockwood Villa immediately to secure that will. There was no way in hell I'd let Arthur Grayson squat in my own home. Suddenly, a pair of blinding headlights pierced through the chaotic crowd, rolling to a smooth stop right in front of me. The rowdy mob around us instinctively fell dead silent. The tinted car window slowly rolled down. Get in. She spoke only those two words. Her tone was completely flat, but it carried an authority that left zero room for argument. Without even a shred of hesitation, I yanked the door open and slid into the back seat. The exact second the door slammed shut, the crazy outside noise was instantly muted. Inside, the car was impeccably clean and incredibly peaceful. A subtle, refreshing scent washed over me, instantly calming my racing heartbeat. Seeing me escape, Tiffany suddenly lunged at the car window. Who the hell are you? What gives you the right to take Ethan away? Let me make one thing clear, I am the heiress of the Hudson family. Don't you dare try to steal my man. Drive. The car accelerated smoothly, leaving Tiffany's hysterical screaming and the crazed crowd in the dust. Leaning back into the plush leather, my tense muscles finally loosened up. I rubbed my throbbing temples with a heavy sigh. Are you in a rush? She asked. Yeah. I need to get to Rockwood Villa right now. Grandpa's will is still hidden there. If I can just secure that document, I can legally take back the Rockwood Group and expose Arthur and his lackeys for the frauds they are. She glanced at me. I'll go with you. I know the exact security layout at Rockwood Villa, Arthur's daily schedule, and where every single guard is posted. I've already had Chloe look into absolutely everything. You did that? I asked, shocked. You saved my life once, she replied coolly. And I, Vivian Vance, never owe anyone a favor. Besides, I'm not the type to just stand by and watch you struggle. If you want to fight back, I'll hand you the sword. If you want to take back every last thing that belongs to you, the Aurora Group will be your absolute strongest shield. Over the past few days, this incredible woman had pulled me from a wrecked car in the pouring rain, hidden me away at the West Coast estate so I could secretly heal from my injuries, and quietly tracked every single move my enemies made, all without ever asking for a single thing in return. Meanwhile, my own so-called family, my own flesh and blood, declared me legally dead the very day I returned. They stole my inheritance and completely spat on my trust. I just sat there, staring at the stunning, powerful woman sitting across from me. She was an elite boss, standing at the absolute pinnacle of E-City. With complete sincerity, I said, Vivian, thank you so much. Once I crush these traitors and settle the score, I will definitely find a way to repay you. She didn't blink. I don't want your repayment. I just want to see you win. Before long, the car pulled up to the gates of Rockwood Villa. The massive estate where I had spent my entire childhood now felt like an icy, unwelcoming prison. The security guard at the gate practically turned into a ghost the second he locked eyes with me. "Yes, sir. The master gave strict orders. You are absolutely not allowed inside." I'm coming back to my own damn house. Do I really need someone else's permission for that? My voice was ice cold as I shoved right past him. Too terrified to stop me by force, the security guard just stood there, frantically pulling out his phone to report in. The second I stepped foot inside the living room, I could hear Arthur Grayson, Eleanor, Aaron Grayson, and Nina Collins laughing it up. The four of them were lounging on the sofa, happily discussing the future of the conglomerate and planning out the perfect wedding. The moment they heard my footsteps, their heads snapped toward me in unison. Their smug smiles instantly froze, solid the second they realized who I was. "Ethan, how the hell are you here? Are the security guards outside completely useless? Who gave you the right to barge in here? Security, throw this trash out right now!" Aaron tightly gripped a deathly pale Nina Collins, pure panic flashing through his eyes. "Ethan, man, it is honestly so great that you're back. While you were missing these past few days, we were all sick with worry. Worried about me? Or worried I might actually still be breathing? Worried I'd get in the way of you stealing my family's assets? Worried I'd crash your glamorous little wedding? Worried I'd stop you from swallowing up the Rockwood Group for yourselves? Is that it?" Nina stuttered. "Ethan, I was wrong. But what Aaron and I have is true love. We only kept it a secret because we didn't want you stressing out while you were overseas. Can you please just forgive me? Forgive you? You threw away 8 years of my devotion, secretly slept with my own brother, got knocked up, and happily clapped while they declared me dead. Do you honestly think you deserve a single ounce of forgiveness?" Arthur sneered. "Shut your mouth. The Rockwood Group belongs to Aaron and me now. You have absolutely nothing to do with it. Your grandfather's will expired a long time ago." "Expired?" Chloe stepped right up and slammed a legal document down. "Arthur Grayson, you illegally forged that will, embezzled billions in corporate assets, and conspired with outsiders to crush the veteran employees. The Aurora Group already has rock-solid proof of every single crime. Oh, and by the way, that QV13 perfume formula Grandpa left behind? I've already successfully replicated it. Add that to the fact that I am single and fully ready to start a family, I flawlessly meet every single requirement for the inheritance. I slammed the authentic copy of the will and my official perfumery certification right onto the coffee table. Arthur Grayson turned pale as a ghost, heavily collapsing back onto the sofa. Eleanor shook violently from head to toe, every ounce of her former arrogance completely shattered. Aaron's eyes darted around in pure panic, too cowardly to even meet my gaze. Nina Collins completely broke down, slumping onto the floor and sobbing hysterically. Right on cue, the piercing wail of police sirens echoed from outside. Vivian Vance spoke up, her tone flat and completely indifferent. For suspected corporate embezzlement, commercial fraud, and document forgery, The cops are already here. Heavily armed officers filed straight into the living room. They flashed their arrest warrants right then and there, slapping cuffs on Arthur and Eleanor Grayson before dragging Aaron away. Aaron Grayson was hauled off with them for his active role in the conspiracy. Nina Collins was also escorted out to assist with the investigation. What awaited her now was the absolute maximum penalty of the law and the brutal scorn of the public. The villains had finally met their devastating downfall. They had exhausted every dirty trick in the book, desperately trying to steal away everything that was rightfully mine, only to end up locked in handcuffs and thrown behind bars. Standing all alone in that massive, empty living room, I let out a long, deep sigh of relief. The crushing darkness that had suffocated my chest for 3 agonizing years was finally, completely gone. Vivian quietly walked up beside me and gently took my hand. Looking into the soft warmth of her eyes, a wave of absolute peace washed over me. The golden hour sun poured through the floor-to-ceiling windows, bathing her in a radiant glow, making her look so breathtakingly beautiful that I literally could not take my eyes off of her. From our crazy, unexpected encounter during that plane crash, to her risking her own life to save me in the storm, all the way to this exact moment of standing by my side to take back my empire. This woman had long since carved a permanent place in my heart. Vivian, you were always the one protecting me before. From now on, it's my turn to be your shield. I'll protect the Rockwood Group, and I will fulfill my grandpa's dying wishes. But the absolute most important mission of my life is simply staying right here by your side. A tender, warm smile danced in her eyes as she tipped up on her toes and softly pressed her lips against mine. That kiss carried no rush, no lingering misunderstandings, just pure, absolute joy and unwavering certainty. Right after that, I officially took total control of the Rockwood Group, completely restructuring our operations and bringing back the veteran staff. We turned our epic comeback into a legendary success story across the entire East City business world. And to top it all off, Vivian and I hosted a magnificent, jaw-dropping wedding ceremony that completely took the entire capital by storm. Our married life? It was incredibly warm and deeply fulfilling. I was finally done being that broken, destitute underdog, bleeding from the ultimate betrayal of family and fake romance. Vivian remained that absolute powerhouse, a formidable, high-profile heiress who basically ruled the capital elite with an iron fist, yet she reserved every single ounce of her sweet tenderness for me alone. Finally, seeing that my heart belonged entirely to someone else and that I was living a blissfully perfect life, Tiffany Hudson swallowed her bitter pill, gave up all hope completely, and stopped hounding my every move. Meanwhile, those wicked, backstabbing wrongdoers, Arthur Grayson, Eleanor, and Aaron Grayson, spent the remainder of their miserable lives rotting behind bars, paying the ultimate price for their insatiable greed and sick betrayal. And then there was Nina Collins. With her reputation completely burned to ashes and absolutely no one left to offer her a dime of financial aid, she was left scraping by at the absolute gritty bottom of society, never again experiencing even a single shred of her former glory. The bright, warm sunshine washed over the silhouettes of Vivian and me, gently leaning into each other. Looking back, I finally understood it. That terrifying plane crash was a total disaster, sure, but honestly, it was an unbelievably profound blessing in disguise. It violently forced me away from those toxic, deceitful snakes and led me straight to the one person truly worth treasuring. In the end, the righteous ultimately find their epic rewards, while the wicked absolutely bring about their own brutal doom. Karma never misses. As for Vivian and me, walking forward, hand in hand, side by side. Yeah, that is the absolute most perfect ending to this crazy, beautiful life.